to go. Alright, so welcome everyone. So this is Suikoden 4, for those of you that aren't familiar. This is the probably least liked game of the series, at least for the main series. And we're going to be doing any % New Game Plus, which is essentially beat it as fast as possible while having New Game Plus benefits. I'll explain what those are in a second. Just want to get timer going. So there we go. Let's go. So biggest thing you'll see right away, we have a cutscene skip button. So don't need to watch cutscenes. That saves like 3 hours on its own. And then we get to transfer equipment over. We get to transfer money over. We get to transfer inventory over, so runes and whatnot, all that stuff, we carry that over, so we can set it up really well from the start. And we'll be using that speed through the game as fast as possible. So all this stuff at the beginning is scripted. First war battle, you just surrender, you can lose it. This fight just ends in 4 turns. Nothing to do, you just defend. I'm actually getting really good patterns here. Katarina, the woman over there, she can use Water Rune, and that has a pretty long animation time, and they're attacking different people, which is faster. Alright. Best equip. Powering, and speed ring. And I think there's something up with Escort. Are you ready for me? I think that's an attack. So this is a one-shot as long as we pick the right option. Right action. And yeah, easy fight. So since we can transfer armor over, one of the things we have access to is a set of armor called Ogre Gear. Between the whole set, they all give like 15 more attack or so, but altogether they also have a bonus effect of giving you Berserk right away. So we have a 1.5x damage multiplier along with like plus 60 strength just from my armor. And then we have speed rings, power rings, making us fast, makes us hit hard. And we'll be using primarily physical attacks throughout the course of the run. We'll just be wrecking everything with that. Also,
have you said anything about the story yet, or not really?
No, I don't remember the story because I only run New Game Plus categories where you skip everything. So you guys are welcome to fill in.
Just if you want to say something first or whatever, if you want to just tell me like story, and I'll fill in.
Well, start of essentially we're in Razzle right now. We're Knights of Razzle. We're doing our like opening ceremony to become Knights, if I recall correctly. So we're gonna do all that right now, and then we're gonna go do night things, aka run little missions, errands, and whatnot. We got our best bud Snow with us, and we're just like the dynamic duo of knights and just getting stuff done. At least for now. Eventually, of course, the plot gets more interesting, but there ain't too much going on at the moment. Right here, where you gotta just light everyone's torches. This is actually one of the harder movement things in this game, or in this run. Just gotta go talk to all these NPCs as fast as possible. As you can see, that can be a little tricky sometimes. Just fit a circle around her. But yeah, this game has an amazing run animation for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's like, you have a base walk animation, and then the run animation is just a sped up version of that. And your arms look absolutely ridiculous. We don't have full speed running yet. We get that when we recruit a character. So we got that to look forward to. We get Turbo, Booty Shorts, Lazo running at some point. So we just wrapped up the ceremony more or less. Now we're gonna go to bed. And then tomorrow morning, our training starts. Our first few fights of the run, where we'll actually be doing something. Also, something I should mention, unlike every other Suikoden game as far as I know, this game has turbo text. If you hold R1, you press triangle, you just automatically advance through text as fast as possible, which is amazing for speedrunning. Because, well, first of all, it's as fast as possible. Oops, the wrong option there. But it's also just saves you a lot of hand pain from mashing for several hours, like with other games. One of the things with running Suikoden games is you get all these text boxes that you can advance through incredibly quickly, so you have to mash non-stop. But in this game, you don't have to. You just hold R1, press triangle, or hold triangle, and you're good. Don't have to worry about it. Alright, so we're just gonna go meet up with Snow real quick. And then we'll start our training. Funnily enough, the start of the game is actually one of the more intense parts, I should say. It's not intense, but it requires more... Oh, interesting. So I thought putting snow in the front there would change my model, but I guess snow doesn't have one or something? I don't know. That's something I decided to do for this run. We're going to check out all the character models of, like, all the characters that we can here, because we can. And it's the only game where you can run around as, like, non-primary characters somewhat often. Apparently snow's not an option. So, first fight, we just auto. At this point, snow's still useful. Ted is in this game, but we will not be seeing him.
So this game actually takes place 150 years before the events of Suikoden 1, and we're south of the Torn Republic in the ocean in the...
I just want to point out that even though we have like really good armor and stuff, our accuracy is still base level, and okay, I did not mean to click that. Our accuracy is still base level, and I just had both my characters miss both of them there. That's, and then there's another miss. We were joking about how this was gonna happen non-stop, and here it is. I can't hit anyone. Yeah.
Already starting.
This is a bit early. Usually happens a bit later. Alright.
Is it Talik?
I'm sorry?
I remember yesterday it was Tal that kept on missing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Tal misses a lot. He has the lowest accuracy, high strength, between all these characters. But there it was Snow and Laszlo in the first intro battles, which I was not expecting.
That Brando battle where Laszlo missed like 4 straight times.
Yeah, that was great. I've never seen that one before. Limp, it's because of cutscene skip and all the inventory stuff. There is a new game any percent category, but that's not what we're running today. We're doing New Game Plus, which is just faster. It's kind of like the true any percent.
You can skip cutscenes, like you said, and also like you might notice all those characters are berserked because they have runes that are items that were carried over.
Yep, we get some nice benefits like Ogre Gear, which is really okay. You're right there. I regret that formation swap I did for memes. Throw me off. Equipment. So Snow gets 2 power rings. Equip best, equip best. I didn't actually equip you. Then Tao gets 2 power rings. I did not do this menu quite right. And you get 1 power ring. There we go. So that's just gonna be our base equipment for the start. As you can see, Ogre Gear on everyone, power rings, speed rings. We're pretty strong. Accuracy cell hasn't been improved, but just don't miss. How hard can it be? So we're about to go do our...
Snow's our best friend.
Yes, he is. Best childhood friend.
Didn't his...
I'm sorry. Didn't his father take care of us as a kid or something along those lines?
Yep. We were kind of adopted, to sure. Which is kind of how we got our name. It's more closer to Razro, which is sort of like Razaril.
Yeah.
But I guess they changed to Laszlo in the
translation thing.
But yeah, it's kind of, you know, when a town sort of adopts you, you kind of take the name type deal. But yeah, his father, yeah, we're kind of like his, I guess, stepbrother, or not stepbrother, adopted brother.
Yeah, essentially. So we're pretty close. Which makes the events of this game all more tragic.
For nothing.
Yeah. Actually, that's a fun mechanic to go over. So this game's unique in how it handles unites. And you actually have to train it up. If 2 characters have a unite, they don't start with it right away. You need to get some, like, battles done with them together, and then you have access to the unite, which is really cool. It's only one with that. It's also why we won't be seeing too many unites in this run. Since we don't do really any random battles past the beginning. With a few exceptions.
What's gonna happen to the Night Zero?
Well, some of it will stick around, others not so much. And I just made another big mistake there, picked the wrong dialogue option. So we gotta swim back. Normally that takes you back to Razaril right away, but This is what happens when you don't practice. I picked the wrong dialogue option. We have to take this long trip back to Razral. It's alright, though. Oh, fun fact. The first time I played this game, I thought the sailing was absolutely horrible. I still think that. But you can hold R1 in the ship to speed it up. So that, if you didn't know that and you try getting anywhere, you'll just go absolutely insane. But that makes it a little bit more bearable. And there we go, we had Snow's model as our main character there. I was trying to get that earlier, it just showed up now.
You didn't notice that you had him running to the rune shop?
I've already been to Rune Shop. Oh, I had him? I didn't notice.
Yeah, it was Snow. Yeah, it was Snow.
Well, there we go. It wasn't pointless. We did get a new character model. We did it. Also, he has he has unique armor. All the other 3 knights have like the same set of armor, but Snow's is unique. I didn't notice that until right now either. I'm sure we'll be learning lots of things about this game in this run. So, it's funny, one of the funny things about this game is only at the start are you looking for random battles. After that, you really don't want to see them ever again, and somehow at the start you always get the lowest encounter rates. And then later on, when you don't want them anymore, they show up non-stop. Like, right here, all these battles, we're just bribing everything. Like I said, we carry over money from New Game Plus, so we can afford all these bribes, no problem. So we go here, you get another mission. There's rumors of a monster terrorizing Middleport, so we gotta go take care of it. It's quite the fearsome beast. It's also a random battle, so we have to kind of get lucky and find it, but it generally shows up fairly quickly. So
now I remember, I think I asked you this question, why you thought maybe the Champions Orb doesn't transfer on New Game Plus, and I think you said it was precisely for this reason, because you need these plot battles.
Yeah, there's quite a few plot random battles at the start of the game. Right here, it wouldn't be one of the reasons, because you still have access to a rune shop. Well, I'm not getting the battle, but later on, there will be part of the run where you just need to find random battles, and you have to beat 2 battles or so to continue the story. And you won't have access to a rune shop there, so if you had Champion's Rune equipped, you'd be soft locked essentially. Okay, Damp Hairball, where are you? I'm hoping I'm not too far now. It's hard to tell exactly where the zone is. But this is the worst start I've had in a very, very long time. Classic marathon luck right here. I haven't had trouble finding this hairball since I started practicing again. Okay, where actually is it though? I almost feel like I didn't start the quest, but I don't think that's possible. Come on, Mr. Hairball. I will now be voice of deafing. There it is. Here's the fearsome beast that's been terrorizing Middleport. Alright, we've defeated it. We did it. Middleport is saved. You also have a minimap you can open. And it's one of the quicker ways to change directions on your boat, because you actually have to steer it, normally. Okay, I'm not going the right way. But if you open the map to change directions, it's instant. Oh. I've been struggling with this so hard lately. I don't know what's been going on. I can't dock, ever. I promised you guys I've played this game before. Somehow we missed the entrance. This isn't even a hard one to hit. There's some annoying ones later on, but this ain't it. Weren't you French earlier? Neo Slash was French. I am not French. Okay, so there we go. Mission's done. Now we're gonna go talk to our commander. He needs to speak to us for some reason, so we're gonna go do that.
Yep, we went from French to English to now American.
Yep. I'd argue that English and American are the same, but I guess not. Not exactly the same. Anyway, so we just got another mission. We're gonna have to go escort Ramada to, I believe Aluya was actually the destination. But we won't get that far. Which is good, because it's an incredibly long trip. It's other side of the map. It would take ages. But before that, Snow has to run some errands, so we're gonna let him go do that, and we're just gonna run in and out of the store a few times to keep ourselves entertained. I mean, in terms of language, equip basic sword, they're the same. I'm not saying the countries are the same. And there we go, Snow joined us again, and we go prep for our mission. Iluya is actually a fairly interesting town in that it's a big part of the story. I'd say more so than like any of the other ones. Well, not any of the other ones, but more than quite a few of them. And yet, we never actually go there in this run. You go there and want to wait start because there's recruitable characters there, but you never go there in any percent categories. Which is kind of unique. Big plot impact, but we never actually visit. Another cool thing about this game, you don't actually have to hold direction while you're sailing. If you hold R1, you'll still move same direction. That's possible. So I can just scroll down my notes as we sail in this direction. As far as I know, sailing this way is the fastest way to trigger the next event. We just need to get past like a certain zone, and story will continue. There aren't really any big chunks of land, it's more like small islands, but I'd say about 95% of the map is just ocean. Which makes exploring, if you don't know where things are and you do some exploration, it's very tedious because there's no indicators on where to go. There's no directions, you just kind of have to swim around. You do luckily get a map with like a fog that slowly fills out. But it's still pretty painful to find stuff without any kind of external resource. Hey Dreamy, if you want to sing, feel free. Grace us with your beautiful voice.
No, that was in response to Zephyr talking about huge tracts of lands.
Alright. So here we go, second war battle. This one we actually won't be insta-surrendering. We will be setting up our units. Sadly, we're here on our own. Snow has suffered a horrible injury in the last attack, and he will not be participating in this one. What did I just do?
Is he going to be alright?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Oh, I just didn't face the right way. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. We'll still win the battle. It's just not as fast as it should be. It's going to be a little sketchy.
How serious would you say Snow's injury is?
I think his arm is gravely damaged. There's no recovery. So normally you face right there, and you don't get attacked by that. My notes say that. Oh, I don't know why this went wrong. Or so wrong.
Could get infected.
Wouldn't want that. Oh, we'll improvise. You take 1 damage per attack here. These battles are very scripted. Sometimes the AI does weird things, but for the most part, it's completely scripted. You can't lose, just do them properly, unlike what I've been doing so far. But we just lose some time, and we're not going to lose the battle. I'm still wondering why that wasn't right, though. So, I guess we should explain the war battle system. So it's all ship-based, we all have ships. It's like playing a game of Battleship, essentially. We have rune cannons. There's 5 element rune cannons that can have various powers, and it's like a game of rock, paper, scissors essentially. Except you can see what your options are, what their options are, and there's 5, not 3. And all the setups we do revolve around just playing around that in an optimal way. Here we got a little boss fight. This is where I missed 4 times last time, and he started with Fire Rune. I haven't seen that in quite a while. That's pretty rare, longer animation. Alright, hopefully no misses here. Nice. Alright, that was pretty good.
There's our replacement.
Alright, so duel number 2 right here. Good. The last thing you want him to do here is guard. If he guards, it takes like 4 turns. Anything else, it's a 1-turn fight. So that was very good luck. I mean, it's a 66% chance in your favor, but it's missable. And then you lose time. This also, Brando currently has the Rune of Punishment. The Rune of Punishment stays on its host until they pass, and then it transfers over to someone else. And our captain has just caught up to us and gets on the ship right around the same time Brando dies. And he ends up getting the Rune of Punishment, which will come into play later.
Snow in that.
What was that? About snow?
So we saw snow briefly on the road.
Yeah, on the raft, escaping, because he couldn't fight. His arm was too injured, obviously. He didn't want to abandon us.
Now enter True Rune. The Rune left Brando and latched on to our sort of like mentor person.
Yeah. Dreamy, the end of like your sentences is like cutting out. I'm not sure if there's anything that can be done about that, but it's like the last word always of a sentence.
Oops, sorry. Maybe I should push the button down further. The Rune of Punishment left Brando and went to your like sort of mentor, principal person of your school.
Yeah, it went on to Glenn, our commander, and you sound bad right away now. That's better. And that's gonna come into play later. Right now, he's like fairly injured because of the rune transfer, so he's just in his room sleeping, essentially resting, or at least trying to. Well, we're gonna run into more trouble later, and he will have to fight or use his rune, rather.
I sure hope that nothing bad happens to this very important character.
Nope. Nothing bad ever happens to important Suikoden 1 commanders. Or Suikoden commanders, not specifically one, at the start of the game. There's no track record of this whatsoever.
I don't know, Commander Craze didn't have a good ending. And we just...
That was really up to you. You could let him live. I don't see why you would, though. Maybe Craze ran away with the 10,000 Posh that Kanan stole from you and just had a happy life somewhere else. The shorts make it look like he is clenching his butt cheeks and he is literally fast walking. I feel like that's fairly accurate. Yeah, so one of the things I really like about this game is the character models are actually like well done enough that you can have every character running around on like the overworld. But the running animations, they're interesting. We'll have some cool other characters take the lead later on, though. That'll be one of the things we do throughout the run, just for fun. Alright,
so we're actually a colony of the nation Gaian, and we're actually sort of kind of at odds with the Kuluk Empire, which is an empire just south of the Scarlet Moon Empire, which we saw in the last game.
Correct. What's it at this point? Isn't really Kuluk yet, is it? Isn't it just like pirates at the moment? Kuluk's starting to make their plans of like Cray and Ramada, but they haven't like. I don't think that Razril is really aware of it at this point.
Yeah, there's still tension between the two sides because, well, Glenn talks about it, like how he fought the, I forgot what Troy's nickname is, like Child of the Sea or something.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat probably knows, but, you know, Glenn lost to him, and Troy was kind of like a very green young officer, so it was kind of like an insult that he beat Glenn, who's a seasoned veteran of the...
Yeah, I think he single-handedly like won the battle for them. And like Glenn was both like impressed and embarrassed at the same time. No, we don't ever learn what's up with Jean. There is a hint at something being up in Suikoden 3, if you play as a certain character and talk to her. But besides that, you never really get much background on her. Fun fact, I think she's actually the character in the most Suikoden games. I think it's like a tie for the most part between her and Vicky. But Jean is in tactics and Vicky isn't, because you have overworld like map movement there by default, so there's no reason for Vicky to be there. So Jean is actually the character that appears in more Suikoden games than any other character to my knowledge.
I can't remember if Jean appears in the guidance, but those never released here in North America.
Yeah. I believe she does. I believe her and both her and Vicky do, but I don't remember it, to be honest. So I count them as a tie for there, but I could be wrong.
Leknat doesn't appear in Tactics either.
Ah, true. She does appear in here. So yeah, Leknat loses out through Tactics either. Jean's the only constant. Where am I supposed to go? Commander's room. The plot's like the hardest to remember in here. It's just a lot of running around. I'm struggling a little bit. Alright, there we go. What were you gonna say, Drudy?
Oh, I was gonna say Vicky and young Vicky, as somebody pointed out, appear in one game. Actually, appeared in 2 games. Gaiden 2, Volume 2, and
Wait, young Vicky appears in Gaiden 2, or do you mean just like Vicky in general?
both of them do. Young Vicky and
Huh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just like normal Vicky. So, and that's like a long time before 3 as well, isn't it? I did forget about card stories, but I don't know enough about card stories to really count characters in there. I've never played the game past like the first 5 minutes.
And in case you're wondering, both Vicky and Gina are both in the Apache.
Both in the what? I'm sorry.
On the pachinko machine.
Oh, on the
They're both
pachinko
in that
machine.
game.
Makes sense. It is 4-based. So which one do you like more? The Suikoden 4 pachinko machine or Suikoden 4?
I mean, the pachinko machine has very HD assets in it, so it's the best looking Suikoden game.
That's something right there.
But I can't really say if there's a whole lot of story as there is a lot of gambling.
I feel like it appealed to speedrunners. I feel like a lot of these speedruns are just a lot of gambling. So Dreamy, I'm waiting for that Suikoden 4 pachinko world record attempt. Maybe next week.
It's a free world record, right?
Yeah. Kind of kill that guy. I should probably actually look at my notes some point during this run. Would be smart. I didn't do that wrong, fighting incorrectly though. Alright, so...
Or are we just fighting the,
We're fighting pirates. We're getting attacked by pirates now as retaliation for killing Brando, who attacked us, by the way. So, that's what's going on right now. Ransworld is under attack again by pirates. The previous war battle was the same thing. We were under attack by pirates. And now it's happening again. So you got like 3 scripted battles here. Should be pretty straightforward as long as Tal doesn't miss people. There we go. He didn't miss that time. You want to attack individually because with auto, it randomly chooses which ones they target. Kenneth doesn't do enough damage to kill some of them. And they can also stack onto the same target, which means they they wait for each other to finish. And in the meantime, the pirates can attack us, which takes more animation time. So you want to just manually target everyone there. That's actually a pretty common theme in this game. You'd think that since we're just doing physical attacks non-stop, auto would be the quickest option, but auto is actually not that good because of how it selects targets and how that's handled in this game. Alright, so we're gonna go check on the commander. He used a Rune of Punishment in that battle to drive away the pirates. And he ends up dying from it, and it gets transferred onto us. Meanwhile, Mr. Snow, our best friend, our brother, he gets there just in time to see us with a dead commander, and he just accuses you of killing him. And now we're marked as traitors, and we're being exiled from Razril. So yeah, thanks, Snow.
I mean, you were kind of like hovering over the dead body.
But I passed out too, it's a lie. What kind of murder do you do when you just pass out on top of the dead person? And it's like, where's the benefit of the doubt as well, you know?
And there's only one like entrance really up to that place, right?
Yeah. I mean, they have like flying birds and stuff. I assume they don't think that a bird got them, so. I used, what did I use? Carrier pigeons for transferring information?
Nazzle birds.
That was it. That's how Glenn caught on that something that was up with Ramada. They weren't getting their words back. Birds back. And it's because Katarina mentioned it in front of Ramada, and he took advantage of that information.
Yeah, Glenn got kind of upset at Katarina being like, hey, not so loud.
Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't say this in front of people we don't know and trust. And he was right.
Too much spoken about the Nazzle birds, but in Gaiden 1, there's actually a character that's a Nazzle bird. And yeah, they're kind of like, exactly you said, like carrier pigeons, and Harmonia uses them a lot.
Is that Nash's bird that we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep, he's a Nazzle bird. 1 second, let me think of his... I don't know, it's eluded me. I was going to say Sebastian, but that's totally wrong.
So I should note that we got Chippu now. He's our favorite Nate Kobold. And we're never gonna set him up, so he's not very strong. That's why we want to manually attack and have him defend every time. At this point, his attacks don't even kill these random enemies, and the reason we're fighting here is because we gotta do 2 random battles to continue the story. And this goes to the earlier point that Dreamy brought up, where you can't transfer Champion's Rune. Because if you have Champion's Rune on at this point in the game, you can't continue if you can't get these battles. So you would be soft. Dominguez, yeah, that sounds familiar. That was the bird.
That's the bird's name. Yeah. Mm-hmm, for Nash.
So here, we were put on the raft essentially to just go wherever on our exile. Chippu happened to be hiding on it, and Kenneth and Tal snuck on because they trusted me. They don't think I killed Glenn. They wanted to stick with me. So that's good friends right there. Sorry, what?
So we have new clothes and shorter shorts.
Ah, true. I do. Well, we're no longer a knight, so that makes sense.
And we gained an extra sword.
True. I never caught on to that, but you're absolutely right. We do only have 1 sword up until here. Now we have 2.
And then there was that one thing SRD had in their little trivia. If you went to the back streets during the torch ceremony, you would actually fight with the flaming torch in battle.
Really? I know that either. Also, this fight's going terribly. Normally you want to die in 1 turn to like a magic attack. This one right here. But they targeted people, they didn't kill some people, they missed some people. This is an unwinnable fight, you just lose as fast as possible, and that was not that quick. So here we got 2 more scripted battles. Once again, as long as no one misses, we should be fine. They're never gonna really threaten you, it's just a matter of how fast it is, and Laszlo missed.
So, is Tal and Kenneth brought some more so for their runes, or is there like actual like stats just better?
Its stats are better. I think Kenneth starts with a lightning rune, but we throw a rage rune on him, so that isn't too relevant. It's more they have decent physical stats, and Kenneth has a good enough magic to just get me the spells that I need in the early game. I've considered using Jewel. Jewel is kind of similar to Kenneth. I think she's like slightly higher in 1 stat, lower in another, and in some places she worked out better. But she comes with a water rune by default, and I want to use that for war battles. So I don't want to remove that off her, which means she sticks. She doesn't become a main party member. The second war battle
we left that warship.
Yes. We've escaped Troy's boat, we're back on our raft, and we're just swimming around trying to find land or some means to survive.
Oh yeah, we forgot that suffix, the junior after Dominguez.
I didn't know that. Also, Chippu's weapons are named as cheats. I never noticed that either. That's pretty funny. Hey Neo, thanks for the good luck. Alright, so here we have our first kind of boss fight where we actually have some control over our characters, or who we have with us, I should say. It's another pretty scripted fight. The worst thing you can do is sleep someone other than Chippu, which is good because... Oh. Chibu's the only person we don't mind getting stuff. It takes 6 attacks from our main party members, assuming no crits to take him down. But since we have overpowered here, it's still a pretty easy fight. If Tao gets slapped, it can get a little bit longer, but it's not threatening, once again. There aren't any threatening boss fights in this run until the final boss, essentially, with the setups that we do. Alright, so here we washed up on a deserted island after fighting that water dragon, and we're just gonna wake everybody up and do some exploration. Tactical backflip, of course. It gives you better evasion.
I'm not sure if people pointed out, but I know a lot of people pointed out during Neo Slash's run, like why he didn't, or like why isn't the cabin considered part of any percents to like get that early ending in Tinto? But you can also get one here on this island.
Yeah, if you say like, let's stick on the island, you have the option to like say let's get off the island or let's just stay here. And if you pick the latter 3 times, you get a the game goes into like black and white with like portraits and stuff. Like I think it's very cartoony, and you just stay here forever. You can't get off. You keep on doing the same things over and over again, but you can't ever finish. You're just stuck here. And funnily enough, I did that in my first casual playthrough. I didn't know you can get that kind of ending, and I spent like over an hour trying to do stuff to get out of here, but there's nothing you can do. I was just like, wait, am I just stuck here now? I'm not even sure if I saved before. I think I did, luckily, but it was something. I think this is the only game, or only Suikoden series game that has something like that, where you can just get stuck in a place by picking bad options. Not technically an ending, it just never lets you leave.
Now, here's the real question: is it faster to collect the wood, collect the coconuts, or I forgot what the third task was? Collect rope?
It's the rope. I thought the coconuts were competitive because I thought you had to go talk to all your characters. In between. Wait, how did I pick coconuts? I could have sworn I picked rope. Okay, what is going on?
Here we go.
I'm like, where's the rope at? And apparently I picked coconuts.
New routing.
I did this in my last run I did too, but there I caught it. Here I'm just, how did this happen? But yeah, I used to think that I have to talk to Tao, Kenneth, and Shipu, which required visiting each of these screens, so I didn't think it mattered much. But Alexaster pointed out that you don't actually need to do that. You just need to get your collect your free items and get the cutscene here. You can continue. So there's like a 3-minute in the world record for this category of doing extra stuff that you don't have to do. Because I did not know better at the time. I thought that was really clever because I found a way where you can skip some, like, they join your party if you talk to them after the mermaid cutscene. And I thought I found a nice way to skip that by talking to them before we do the cutscene. But it turns out you don't actually have to talk to them at all. So, even better.
I really like the Rune of Punishment, like, effectiveness. Compared to like some other ones, like Rio's from S2 is very support with like I think like only the final spell doing some damage and another one. So, similar to like the Soul Eater where like only 2 spells can actually be used on bosses. But the Rune of Punishment just has that first nuke ability that I consistently use throughout.
I never really use that all that much. I think it's not that strong, like 130 base. But I actually was not a big fan of Rune of Punishment. I thought it was always weak. It doesn't do too much damage, it has negative side effects, and yeah. Voice of Death is like the only one I thought was decent, but it can actually backfire and kill your characters. Which is hilarious because I tried to use it on a boss fight once, which it does work on. And it killed me instead. And that boss fight, you only have Laszlo in the party. So it was just auto loss. And then I haven't used that strategy ever since because that was silly. Also, I somehow managed to pick coconuts again, so next time I'm gonna watch my menu very closely. We definitely want to collect rope, because the rope is on the same screen as the beach, whereas coconuts are on a different screen.
He's also the only tank to have like a complete True Rune at the start, sort of like you know, Bright Shield and Black Sword were separated. 5, your Tenkai doesn't have a true rune. And then 3 also, your Tenkai doesn't have a true rune.
That's kind of fair. I mean, I feel like it's fairly similar to Soul Eater because it doesn't get unlocked its full potential right away. Technically, the Soul Eater has the whole soul absorption thing that it does plot-wise, and Rune of Punishment doesn't have that per se. But your spells do get unlocked as you use the rune. And, like, in story progression. Okay, I got coconuts again, I gave up. We're just getting coconuts all stream, it's fine. It's not a huge time loss or anything, just... I feel a little bit bad because this is not what the speedrun's supposed to look like. We're not supposed to be gathering coconuts, we're supposed to gather rope. And here we're just getting coconuts all day. Yeah, that is how Forgiver's Sign works, and I feel like optimally you want to use it as just pure damage. Because it's a 2000 damage nuke if you have a full HP party, which is, I think, the best spell in the game, essentially, outside of Rune Knights. Well, if you like coconuts, you've come to the right place. Equip Basic Sword. We'll have plenty here. We'll have 9 whole coconuts collected. Yeah. Dreamy, do you know if the negative effects of the Rune of Punishment go away at the end of the game, if only if you get all 108 stars?
No, I think it's like cursed, like Soul Eater. It's kind of similar deal why McDowell sort of left it.
But, somebody just mentioned in chat that it's not until near the end of the game before it gets rid of the self-damage thing. I never took too much note of that because I never really used it in the speedrun setting, or even casually. I'm just trying to remember if that was a 108 or, normal thing. I think it was a 108 only.
Like the multi-hit one, I never saw use for just because the damage trade-off for how much damage inflicted to yourself just never seemed to add up to me. But that first ability, I remember, I think it did 300 damage and it would hit you for 25 or something. So that trade-off I was willing to.
Yeah, that's a lot more fair. Although I think the 300 is maybe on weaker enemies with lower magic defense. I think the base is actually 150. And then maybe after magic stat and affinities, it becomes a little bit higher. Also, is there a way to mute Discord notifications? I didn't think about that, but I just realized we're going to be capturing those through the stream.
Yeah, what Ruru said was true, too. When you get the 108, it gives you the forgiveness state of the Rune of Punishment, but it's still a cursed rune.
Yeah, definitely. That's why they threw you on a boat and set you out to sail at the end of the game.
Crabs.
Oh, they're gone now. So this is a very intense fight, as you can see. Really difficult. But essentially what's happening is the crab is in its shell and you can't get it out, so you can't do any damage to it, and you just wait for the game to let you hit it. Alright, here we're going to be using magic for the first time in the run. Kenneth has a Rage Rune that we have through New Game Plus, and we're going to use that to deal with the crabs. There is actually a chance that they survive with a low damage roll, but I haven't seen it in quite a while. Let me see if I can do this. There we go, I can mute the channel. That should help with the sound. And 2 more attacks should take care of it. In case we haven't filled you out on the plot, Chipu got some crab meat earlier during this deserted island trip. That's what we've been eating. And the crabs did not take for that kindly, so they kidnapped Chipu. This is us rescuing him from the evil crabs. It's about 3 hours or so, Exerziblant. It's hard for me to say because I haven't run both, and there's a difference between runner skill and how many attempts they put in. But I think the any percent time is a little over 6 hours, and the record for this is 228. So over 3 hours. For sure. Just because of cutscenes.
Chipu is a...
Oh, what were you saying, Dreamy?
Mr. Chipu is a Nei Kobold, which kind of sounds like the Japanese word for cat.
Oh.
For Nico. Or Nico.
That makes sense. Is there any connection between normal kobold and dog? Or is that just a thing?
I'm not really sure. I mean, they both have kobolds in their name, obviously, but it seems like they'd be a separate.
Yeah. I always found like the whole kobold name a little bit weird for like Chipu species. I get that they're both like animals based off like cats and dogs, but like why nay as a
Are you the
suffix?
reptilian?
What was that?
Because I know a lot of people, I think that play D&D or something. They all associate kobolds with reptilian creatures, and I started Suikoden, so I've always thought them as the dog.
Yeah, I feel like they should be reptilian creatures. That sounds more correct, but that's how I know them too because I played Suikoden first. That's good to know. I didn't know that either with Basic Sword. Yeah, name Kobolds is a very strange name. Alright, there we go. Once again, we're at the part of the run where we just have to kill some random battles to continue the story. Now we have another boss fight. So, these two enemies, they have a unite attack of sorts where they just both attack at once with a combo. But if you kill one of them before the unite attack, and the other one was going to do the unite attack, they actually don't do anything. Like this. So we can do this fight damageless. Once again, Kenneth's Blazing Wall comes into play. He gets auto-healed after the boss crab, so we do have the MP. Oh, well, this isn't the only game. I think this is the first game in the series where there's actually items to restore your MP. As far as I know, there isn't anything in 3. There is in 5, but this game introduces items called herbs. And those can restore your spell MP, which is new to the series. Before this game, you can only stay at an inn or rest somewhere to restore your magic. In this game, you actually have a consumable you can use.
Mints and mushrooms, and then I think there's also an item, like you said.
Yeah, no, it's mints and mushrooms. You're right. It's mints, mushrooms, and, well, herbs. Mixed herbs, specifically. I know, it restores your MP to full on all spells. It's a really good item. It's also really rare. You don't find too many throughout the course of like normal gameplay, but since we're New Game Plus, we just transfer some over. I'm going to do something here real fast.
You can grow them with some characters, though.
Yeah, it's with the two mushroom guys. You can do those little war battles. But I think they give you mints and mushrooms. They don't give you mixed herbs, I think. I think every free battle you get mixed herbs, if I recall correctly. It was something along those lines.
A little war battle he's talking.
Yeah, it's a nice nod to... It's a nice nod to Suikoden 1. There's a little minigame. Why am I sharpening Chipus? I don't actually want to sharpen this weapon. There's a nice minigame you can do after you grow your mints and mushrooms where you do a little war battle where the mushroom army and mint armies face off and they use like your units. It's a Suikoden 1 style war battle minigame. It's pretty cool. Suikoden 4 actually I think is the best game in terms of minigames as well. There's probably like 6 or 7 different minigames. They're actually... Some of them are pretty fun, as long as it's not a certain card game that's required for recruiting a character. Not a fan of that one, especially in the speedrun setting, but... I think the games in this game are pretty cool.
I'd have to agree with you on that. The minigames are really great in S4. A lot of the other games, I know a lot of people probably say Cook-Off is their favorite overall from S2, but just... Most of the games, I feel like, for Suikoden 1, for instance, you know, like the matching card game, the cup game, they kind of get old pretty fast, while these ones are a little more dynamic.
Yeah, they definitely have more depth. I think Suikoden 2 is the favorite one because it has, like, a plot to it. I think it's the only minigame with a full-on plot attached to it. I'm wondering right now if there's differences between running speeds between characters, because I don't know if it's just how his animation looks, but it feels slower running around Chippu. As opposed to like Laszlo.
Hey, just passed that guy in jorts.
Yep. That guy just chilling in shorts like tank top. That's actually the king of this place. His chill. Spoiler alert, is also your father. I actually really like how they handled Laszlo's parents in this game. It's like, it's not even fully even said, it's just hinted at in a few spots. I think they did a really good job with it. It's one of the things that I really like about this game.
Man, so what? Well, really? Ah, of course.
I actually kind of like the mouse catching game. I like it more than Read Upon, at least. I feel like there's some skill involved in there. It can get harder for the more difficulties, like for the harder difficulties, but it's not too bad. Read Upon, that game's annoying if you're trying to do it quickly.
I also thought like Laszlo was a pretty good silent protagonist. I feel once they got this S5, I just felt like the silent protagonist part just didn't, because there'd be lots of voice acting and people talking, and the main character just kind of like make a weird expression.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like Laszlo doesn't have much to say for good reason, whereas the others don't say much because they can't. Like, Laszlo just seems like a silent type, whereas the later protagonist is just like, oh, I feel like this character would talk, but they're not allowed to. Like, Frey, I feel like Frey should have been somewhat more talkative than he is, based off like how his personality is presented. So yeah, this is actually a pretty annoying dungeon if you're playing casually, but we're here, New Game Plus, so we just bribe everything, no problem. But it does have a few different paths. There's actually a really hard boss fight over on the left there, with the golden hairball, if I recall correctly. Hairballs are very prominent bosses in this run. The way they work, actually, is they usually guard a chest, and that chest will usually have something really good in it. But the boss fight's really hard. The first time I tried it, I got completely wiped because it was just casual playthrough. I didn't have OP gear or anything. If I tried it now, I'd probably get wiped too. It would just one-shot my party, most likely. So we will not be messing with the hairballs. But the golden hammer is actually in these ruins, guarded by a hairball. So if you can beat it, you get the golden hammer, which means you can sharpen your weapon to 16 fairly early on into the playthrough.
And luckily you can run away from that counter, or else if you didn't save it, because the continuing system actually makes the run a lot more, you know.
Yeah, this game actually probably has one of the best try again systems in that it puts you... Does it put you before the boss battle or right back into it? I don't remember anymore.
Right back into it, but you can, that particular one you're talking about, the golden furball, you can bridge.
Okay, so yeah, that one isn't an issue. But even for war battles in this game, you can just, you fail it, you can just retry. Whereas if you, like, game over in Suikoden 1 or 2 or 3 even, I think it's just, oh hey, you game overed? Well, time to reload to your last save point. But I was speedrunning. I don't have a save point. Oh, well, I guess your run's over then, buddy. It's a really big issue in 2, actually. I don't know. I didn't watch Neil's run. I was asleep, sadly. Or at least not a lot of it. But I don't know if he ran into any issues with Flick or the level up battles, but you can definitely game over there. It's pretty dangerous, and if you game over there, it's just... Better hope you have a save not too far from there.
So that hand sticking out of the ground back there, the king told us to come over this way because they were a previous holder of the rune we now have. The king recognized the rune because they thought that it was.
Yeah. The king's wife actually had the rune at some point. She died from using it. She's also your mother. You actually see like a little bit of text and like a brief sequence or something in a flashback at the start of the game of her. I think a little bit after Glenn gets the Rune of Punishment, it makes that connection. But you don't really know what it's about until way later on. Yeah, I was starting to say Glenn, so I heard he got wrecked by RNG. I just don't know how bad it was, like if he was actually game overing.
We talked about how the war battles of the Mushroom and Mints thing was S1. Another thing from S1 is the portrait art is done by the same artist.
Oh, neat.
Junko Kawano.
I think the portrait art is actually really good in this game too, so... Well, props to him. One of the nicer things. I think like a lot of the character stuff in this game is really well done. Oh, at least not plot. I don't think they did a really good job explaining, like... I don't think they've done the best job of character development. But I feel like a lot of the artwork involved is pretty good.
Somebody told me that they just felt like a lot of the characters used the same type of weapons. Like there was a lot of single sword users, single hand.
Yeah, I do feel like that's very common. Maybe it's supposed to be like for historical reasons. Maybe in the Suikoden universe, sword was like a really common weapon, just like one sword. Most commonly used weapon in this age. Because it says 150 years before Suikoden 1. Alright, so we got our base. It's a big boat in the mountain. And right now...
It's all about that base.
So we can actually start recruiting people now. We actually have to recruit some characters to continue story in some spots. But we're only can get a few people. We'll get almost the absolute minimum. I think the only extra character... No, I think we actually do get the absolute minimum. We do get Jean, which is kind of out of the way, but we do need more characters at that point, and she's incredibly useful in the later boss fight, and in having a rune shop on your boat. Both really valuable things. Nanami miss in all fights. How? Okay, in all fights? That doesn't seem right. There's no way. I think it's like 1% miss rate versus Abomination and Star Dragon Sword. I heard about the Star Dragon Sword miss. My god. Yeah, A-Bomb 2 shot without Jizo is scary. I think you're supposed to defend turn 1 if she doesn't have a Jizo. That was like the safer strat, because she can't get one shot, I think, if she defends. But, yeah, that sounds rough. I'll definitely watch the run a little bit later. Anyway, we're gonna go and get Warden real quick. I think he's missable, if I recall correctly. But he's just a sleepy dude who joins us here. And we get him because at a certain point we're just gonna need a certain amount of recruits, and he's fairly quick to get. So now we're gonna go on our boat, check out our boat that Lino is lending us. And we're gonna see our old friend the mermaid that we saw on the island that we never really even talked about. So that's why we were going into the cave. To have a cutscene of the mermaid. And she's gonna tell us about some people doing bad stuff over here. I think they're trying to capture her, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cray Trading Company.
Big bad trading company. Oh, you're kidding. Well, one didn't have level 4 magic. I actually haven't run into that in a run yet. That's so unlucky. That's actually crazy. So, some more cutscenes and then we gotta fight. You could say that, Tom. Alright, so, you might notice that one of my characters is asleep. Orden doesn't really bring much to the table here. He's just chilling. He does still get XP though, so I actually lose XP on the other 3 characters because I have an extra character in my party. I normally have kind of attack the middle one because it's more accurate, but... And that one I feel like is more likely to dodge, but that seemed to work fine the first time, so I'll just keep that going. A little bit faster to let them go. You have less dialogue. Alright, and now we just go back, and then we're gonna run into Dario again, the pirate that attacked us in Razril at the start.
That mermaid has legs.
Right. Alright, so here we go, Pirate Dario fight. So this fight actually has a pretty cool, well, I don't want to go history because it's not that, like, this game hasn't been run that much, but originally we used, I think, another fire user. I think we had Shipu with fire here. And the problem you ran into here is, essentially it's like rock, paper, scissors, right, with elements, but if you two use the same one, no one does damage. So fire, it beats wind, so if he does wind, you do double damage. But if he uses fire, no one does damage. And you can essentially get into a scenario where he just keeps on using fire over and over again, and you don't win the fight until he does wind at least twice. So that's why we put Lightning Rune on Shipu. With that, it's neutral both ways, and it guarantees the fight's always over in 3 hits. With fire, you can technically do it in 2 if you get lucky and he does win twice, but you can also lose a bunch of time. So that's just a preferential call there. But we also use that Lightning Rune in other places. Oh, and Dario attacked us there.
Do that.
Oh, go ahead.
was that because you use the rune cannons. There's also a mechanic where if you get up and close to the ship, you can send a squad over to board it and with like a normal.
Yeah, and you just have like a normal fight in there, like Suikoden freestyle kind of, except you actually have control of your characters. And that will be used later on, actually. There are some boats that are pretty hard to take down with rune cannons, so we just go up to them and board them with like our main party and just fight them in melee. That's the fastest way to take care of those. But that's not good yet. I've actually ran into some issues in like the first few war battles before where the enemy ships just randomly went up to me and boarded me, where I've never seen that before. And beat me because of that. So I talked to the innkeeper there and that lady to set up the cutscenes for Cedric. He's a recruitable character. And we're going to go and get him now. He's the person that lets you run faster, so as soon as we get him, we get like double the movement speed. Pretty useful. And we still need to recruit a certain amount of characters to continue the story at a certain point. So it counts towards that too. It's funny, he runs away from you. He stole from the inn, that's why he's running. Or he didn't pay, something along those lines. And he runs away from you right into your base. And she calls Louise a traitor for ratting him out. It's like, what do you expect, dude? She's on my side. Oh, no. So we just need to talk to Desmond to start the next quest. He gives us a message from Lino, telling us he wants us to check out, check something out about some new technology made by a guy in Ney, if I recall correctly, the name. So we're gonna have our first really long sailing trip of the run right now. So if anybody has any nice conversation topics, feel free to bring them up. We're gonna have a lot of time here. This could be sailing.
Zero just set the world record last night in Suikoden 2, 108%.
That is true. And it was supposed to be just a D-Rust for the run I'll be doing on Suikothon on Sunday. So that was a pleasant surprise. It's funny because I played pretty terribly. There were some very notable mistakes, but the game never punished me for it. Or at least not that hard. And all the random stuff that can kind of go wrong just went really smoothly. So I essentially just got lucky. But that category is actually due for a reroute. I rerouted 108 Star for Suikoden 2 around start of 2019, and then OmniGamer and I ended up rerouting any percent in the middle of 2019. And among that, like between that segment of routing, we did a bunch of research on a lot of mechanics. We learned a whole lot of stuff about the game. And now I need to go and apply that to the 108 route. So even though I rerouted it fairly recently, I'll probably be rerouting it again. Which is going to be a humongous project, because it's really complicated to like figure out the most optimal route when you have 108 characters, a bunch of boss fights, a lot of in-game time considerations, trading, war battles, all these things factor in quite heavily. Could be a fun project. Best world map. I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree.
It's a very clean world map.
Yeah. Nice water physics, I guess. I don't think the water here looks really good, but if you ever pay attention to the screen, like with Nobel before the palace, there's these little ponds and fountains, and the water there actually looks so nice, and you get these little puddle effects when you move through it. So I wonder like why the water here couldn't look a bit more like that. Actually has really nice water physics. I think there's a few other places, like Treasure Island has fairly good looking water, I think. I don't remember what the water looked like there, but it's more water they can run in. This is your favorite Suikoden.
Another
Nice.
thing that I noticed about Laszlo is that he doesn't really have like a bodyguard type, like all the other Tenkais have. Gremio, Nanami, Cecile, or Sissel? Forgot her name in 3. And then Leon in 5. He doesn't really have that. Like, I don't even know you'd consider that like cheapo.
No, I'd say that's a point of pride. I mean, I want to say it's might be because it's a knight, but the other characters also have military experience. Like Ryu was in the Youth Unicorn Brigade. The Prince, well, he gets a bodyguard because he's Prince, Freydor. Nanami's your sister. Grimio's your servant. Cecil works for the castle. I don't know. You're right. He is the only one without one. It just like there wouldn't be any reason for him to have one. It's not supposed to be very special, I guess. He is definitely more of a loner type as well, with him being an orphan. His only friend being Snow. Well, not his only friend. I shouldn't say that, but like his best friend. I think the Water in 5 looks pretty good. I don't remember. You don't really ever control the boat in 5, if I recall correctly. You can move around via the raft, and then you can get to one place in Island Nations. But that's like a cutscene. You don't actually ever control a boat in 5, if I recall correctly.
No, you do not.
I don't think Flair loves Lazo. I don't think she knows that Lazo's her brother. Also, spoilers. Maybe at the very end, she might figure it out. But I never got that, like, they're just like, they're cool, you know. Hey, Zeal, thank you for the
Whoa,
raid.
look at that raid number.
Hey, welcome
Oh,
everyone. That is a big raid. Welcome, we're doing Suikothon. This is Suikoden 4, any percent, New Game Plus. Hope you all enjoy.
Too bad we're not doing a 108 run for the 108 raid. Just
Yeah,
any percent, plus.
You're absolutely right, that would have been perfect. What a great number to come into Suikothon in. Wait, is this George Prime Homeland? Is he from Island Nations?
Say again?
Someone in chat said that this is George's homeland, Island Nations. Is he actually from here?
Let me check. I can tell you he's been around.
Yeah, I know he moves around quite a bit. I don't know where he's originally from. Might be here. I didn't know that. He doesn't appear in this game, sadly. Oh, this is 150 years before, so... It's, if he was in here, he'd probably be the true rune bearer. Also, going back to the plot a bit, so, Oleg, the guy we talked to, has invented something called a camera. That was just invented here, and we went to talk to him about it, see if we could use it in some way, and he left it on during the night, and during the night, I guess the Kulak Empire, and like Cray, fired a big rune cannon onto Luya, essentially destroyed the island. And the camera caught all that. Something like debris washed up onto the shore there. We checked that out. Some people were injured and washed up as well. And now we're going to go report our findings back to Lino. And we sail back to Obel. So, another long sailing trip.
Can't find anything. Encyclopedia says that his birthplace is unknown, but from what I recollect, George Prime was one of the 6 generals of the Scarlet Moon Empire, but in Suikoden 1, they only have 5 great generals, and they kind of left his seat vacant when he left after.
Yeah. It might have been... Well, yeah, I think they only mentioned the 5. I don't think they ever mentioned that there was a 6. I think it was kind of like retrofitted in. But yeah, he definitely spent time in Scarlet Moon Empire. I think he was the Empire before the events of... Or, he was a general before the events of Suikoden 5. And then after that, he goes and travels around. Eventually ends up in like the Tinto area in Suikoden 2, where you recruit him. Doesn't really tell you what happens in between.
Yeah, because the War of Succession happened, I think, 7 years before Suikoden 1, so that would be even before Suikoden 5. So he did that war, then he went to the Grasslands, became like leader of the Ebony Knights, and then was picked up by Farid and went to Felena in Suikoden 5.
Yeah. I know about the Grasslands part. It's quite a history.
Yeah, he's a very interesting fellow.
That would make sense, Chrono. I think a lot of people left the Empire after the events of Calico.
And we're totally saying the name wrong, but I feel like everybody's used to saying George.
How is it pronounced?
It's more like Georg.
Georg. Okay. Yeah.
But even the voice actors got it messed up, so it's...
Yeah, I think we'll stick
It's
with the voice actor.
understandable.
Well, I think that actually sounds like. I feel like it's a name that you get tired of saying. It's like too much work, you know? Jorg. No, it's not so bad.
Yep, you got it. It's like Gi as in geese and org as in organization.
Yeah. Jorg.
But yeah, it's kind of nice seeing him in 5 and also seeing him again in 2. Same thing with what's Hayo's daughter's name?
Shunmin.
Something when maybe.
I think it's
Min.
Shunmin.
Yeah, you're right. I was confusing her with low
Well,
Wen for a
Wen,
second.
yeah. That was very
She-
nice
she-
too. What was the other chef in Suikoden 5? What was... Oh, she's not Hayo's daughter, is she? I think she was like a friend to him. She's the other chef in Suikoden 5's daughter.
Yeah, was he not Hayo's like wife? Maybe I'm wrong. But
I
yeah,
don't think so.
Re-
I think like maybe they had a relationship. I'm pretty sure they weren't married. Like it's implied they were
pretty sure
close.
everybody probably.
Alright, so made it back. I gotta say, having somebody in here with me for commentary makes these long boat trips feel a lot less long, which is really nice.
Hey, we're a third through the run. This is going by quick.
Yeah, this has been going pretty quick. Usually I'm just like trying to stay awake when I do 4 runs. Because a lot of it is pretty dull. And you know, 108 Stars is going to be done tomorrow by Alexaster without New Game Plus. Which honestly will probably be a much more interesting run than this one. I'm really looking forward to watching that because I don't know all the new game strategies. I have a rough idea of how the recruitment order will go because I've run New Game Plus 108 Star, but I'm sure there will be quite a few differences. And in terms of plot coverage, that'll be much better too. What were you gonna say, Dreamy?
Did we do the
Do the what? You cut out there.
the Oleg, the camera?
Yeah, we just did that. We showed the footage to Lena right now.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not sure if we explained what happened there. We just saw like a giant beam kind of statue and just totally decimate the place where I guess we were filming this island from far away, and we caught it all on tape, and now we're showing the king like, look what happens. So here we are, and then.
I just want to point out, poor Ornan. He's just trying to take a nap, and these ninjas go and just like try to murder him. It's kind of mean. Ornan by the way, the reason Ornan is in my party, there's no significance to it. I just needed to recruit him, and when you recruit him, he joins your party. But he doesn't do anything special. He's just there. Taking a nap. Which is good that he's taking a nap, because it means it's a little bit less menuing. When someone's asleep in your party, you can't do anything with them, so it just skips them. Which does reduce the menuing time. Otherwise, the menuing time of having an extra character would cost me something. The reason he's always asleep is because he comes with a waking rune, which starts you off asleep, but when you wake up, you end up berserk. Which is not that useful when you consider the fact that we have Ogre for everyone, which gives us berserk automatically. So, just had a little conversation with Lino, Ninjas, Ramada, and they all join us. And now we're getting ready for a Kulak attack on Nobel. Because that's what they figured they're trying to do between the info from Ramada and the camera. They realize that the Kulak Empire is trying to take over the island nations. So...
Oleg actually appears in another Konami for a cameo, Shadows of Memories. He's a camera guy.
Huh. Neat. Well, I don't think Lorelai's Sindarian. I think she's very curious about Sindar. I don't think that... Are there any Sindarians? Maybe Aresh from 5? I can see being Sindarian. She's a very mysterious character. Is that actually ever confirmed for Jean? I feel like that's theorized. But, I don't know if that's confirmed anywhere. Laszlo, okay, Chifu. Oh, I gotta... Wait, what happened to my notes? One second.
Suikoden Suikoden 2 any percent and Suikoden 1 108 stars have been played, but the schedule just posted there. There's still 2 more runs of them. Suikoden 2 108 hasn't been done yet, and Suikoden 1 any percent glitchless hasn't been done yet.
This is another instance of where having that lightning rune is nice, because if I had fire, and that ship did fire, I wouldn't be able to do any damage. If it did fire. I don't need to hit hard, I just need to hit it. And then Lino takes care of the rest from here. That's a cool little mechanic. If you move between 2 ships, you can attack both at once. So you can do that and then move and attack from this side. If the ship's not facing, like if its side's not facing you, they can't counterattack either. So this war battle's completely scripted. Always win like this. No risk. It's a really nice strat. A lot better than what we had at one point, where there was more RNG involved. It depended on what rune cans they used. Also, an interesting mechanic. So your HP in these battles is essentially determined by a stat called underlings. Depending on the amount of people you have on your ship, you have more access to underlings, and it's basically an HP bar. Once you lose all your underlings, your ship goes down. But you can manually remove underlings, and the reason you do that is because the less underlings you have, the faster your ship is. So you can abuse that to go earlier in turn order, or go more often, by just cutting underlings off of your ship. And that's used in quite a few places, to put your speed at just the right amount to make things quick. I want to make an Egbert emote.
So that was Brando we just cut down. Well, Ghost.
Yeah. The Brando inside Rune of Punishment. You can think of it kind of like the Soul Eater. I guess it... is it actually souls that it has inside? But, Soul Eater, you know, consumes souls of previous bear... or people close to it. Close to the bear. Whereas the Rune of Punishment, it has the souls of the previous owners of the Rune of Punishment. And every time you use it, you go into like a cutscene inside the Rune of Punishment and you fight one of them. They tell you something. Yeah. It's a worse Soul Eater, I can agree with that. Soul Eater is a lot better. Actually, you know where Rune of Punishment's really good? It's weak in Tactics. Lazo's not normally in Tactics, but if you transfer data over from 4 to Tactics, you can get him. And the Rune of Punishment in that game is very strong. Only because of one spell that's actually really bad in this game. It's called Double-Edged Sword. I think in this game it does 300 damage to all enemies and 150 damage to your party members, or something along those lines. But in Tactics, it works on a tile-based system, so it can hit like up to 8 tiles in a certain area. And it hits 8 times. With like pretty decent damage. And as long as you don't have any allies in those tiles, it'll just hit 8 enemies. Or hit an enemy 8 times, and it's really powerful. It's pretty funny. Like, it's by far the best rune in the game. As opposed to here, where I feel like it's pretty on the weak side. Rune of Punishment is definitely worse than Soul Eater. At least Soul Eater does pretty good damage with Judgment and Black Shadow. I don't remember the version of the Soul Eater in this game, because the spells that you have access to vary based off of the game. Like 1, 2, and 4, I think all have different spells for Soul Eater. You think Punishments is better? Rune Punishment's story is better than Soul Eater's? I'm not so sure on that. I've always liked Soul Eater more, but maybe that's just because I like the games that have it more. Do we have Flare in our party? Oh, I do. I don't think I'll ever get to do this ever again, so let's do this now. Hey, we're Flare now. Look at that run animation. So here we just need to talk to certain NPCs and then recruit a few characters before we can progress the story. We're essentially evacuating Gobel right now because we know it's about to get taken over by Kulak. So we're grabbing as many people as we can. Oh, also we got stuck on like an invisible rock or something. That happens sometimes. Yeah, there aren't too many tier crew vents near. What were you gonna say, Dreamy?
Your Grace isn't that bad. It has a really good soundtrack. I really like the soundtrack of it. And there's enough Suikoden elements in it. Like, it's got, like, a stone tablet. They call their Stars of Destiny marks, I believe.
Mark of the
But
Stars.
the root system is quite different. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Marks of the Stars, sorry. Or Bears, whatever. But the rune system, it's a little bit... It's not quite the same just because, like, you kind of unlock them and you can, like... it's hard to explain. But, I think overall, it's a pretty solid game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as soon as I stopped expecting a Suikoden game out of it. Like, you just think of it as a standalone RPG. I quite liked it. But if you try to treat it like a Suikoden game, I didn't enjoy it nearly as much. If you just take away the Suikoden from the name, I think it's fairly decent.
Like, I think for everybody, they all have different definitions of, like, what kind of gives you the Suikoden feels. And for me, it kind of hit those things. Like, you had a expandable HQ, you had a stone tablet, you gathered 108 people. It didn't have 6-player. You had 6 spots in your formation, but you could only put 4 players in. And then you also had a support. But one thing I really liked about support is that you could actually do unite attacks with them, which no other game allowed you to use your support stick.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually. Honestly, I don't remember anything about Tier Crease. I haven't played it since the first time I played it, which was a very long time ago.
And Tier Christ has the most Tenkai stars. I think it's got just as many Tenkai stars as all the other games combined.
Interesting. I'm just trying to find my place in my notes right now. There we are. Yeah, the multiverse Suikoden, I didn't really like. And also, I'm sure I knew that at some point. I haven't touched 108 star in this category for a long time. But the draining HP aspect of Soul Eater, that's probably a good thing. Now, like, it'll actually be useful on bosses, whereas previous iterations of it are completely useless on boss fights because they're immune to insta-death. So the rune isn't useless, but some spells are useless. They just don't do anything. And with draining HP spells, you can actually do something. Those. Alright, so we're just going to do some exploration now. We gotta go get a few characters for story reasons and for convenience reasons. So we're going to get some trips. We're going to tag some places. We're just going to enter them and leave them so we can have them on our teleport list. First off being Mortal Island. Also, I bribed there. I could have released. It doesn't really matter though. You don't have any money shortages. You are very rich. I think I could really... No, see, that's why I always press bribe. Because I had a group of 3 enemies there that I couldn't release. That I could release. And then that enemy there I couldn't release. I had to retreat, which you can fail. And then you lose time. It's really strange how... I never figured out how like the Let Go system works in this game. Since I've only ran New Game Plus categories, I never really needed to. So I just never looked into it properly. Alright, so...
Yeah, I'd like to see the 108 run of this, just so I can see you do the mouse game.
Well, Alexaster will be the one putting himself through that. Honestly, I don't think the mouse game's too bad. Especially for the recruitment, it's the easy version, so not that hard. The challenge is read upon. That's the hard part.
Gonna settle the score. Bam.
Oh god, I'm having like flashbacks right now. Read Upon is just like, for anyone unfamiliar, it's a card game you need to like win a certain amount in. Kind of like Tai-Ho in like 2 or something when you recruit them. You need to win a certain amount of money. And it's fairly random. And you can get stuck there for quite a while. There is more skill involved than like Tai-Ho, because it's not just dice rolling. You do actually get to choose how to play the game out, but it's still a ton of RNG, and you can get stuck there for quite a while. I think my first 108 star run, I actually got it really quickly. And then my second one, it took me like 10 minutes to get past her. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm not a fan of this category. I don't think I'll be running this much. Chrono, do you remember what it was? I think it was like a minute 20 or so to get Rita as my record. I've never come close since. Mermaid fishing is a nice touch. I do like the fishing system in this game. That fishing's pretty cool too. But we won't be doing any of that in this run. We'll be seeing that in Alexaster's 108 star run, which I believe is tomorrow. So look forward to that. It'll be a much better showcase of this game, honestly.
Beyblades too.
Beyblades. Oh yeah, the
With,
top spinning game.
The recruitment.
Oh, you don't have to do that for recruitment, but it's like an optional minigame you can play.
Oh, I guess you didn't have to do it. I guess I'm always used to like every single minigame person. You have to beat them at their own game to recruit. Like,
Thank God you don't. That would be so frustrating to speedrun, in my opinion. But I think to get like a certain item, you have to beat that top game 20. Like, you have to win 20 straight, and it was rough. At least it was somewhat fun though. There was a trick to it. 2 hours. Wow. Okay. How did I not enter the dock? So for the record, Nate is the most annoying island to enter. You can just like swim straight into the dock and not get in. I like bounced off it. What were you saying, Dree?
I said only the worthy may enter.
Well, I don't think I'm ever worthy when I play this game. It's one of those things I feel like you actually have to practice. It seems silly to practice like having to enter a town, but in this game, that's a thing. You gotta put in time to be able to enter towns properly.
Character we get.
Oh, everyone's favorite, of course. The character that's in the second most games, I think. Unless we count our different versions, we'll be getting Vicky. Reason is the standard reason. We want fast travel. We don't want to sail any more than we have to. So here, we got our first cutscene with her right there. But we didn't even see her because we skipped it so quickly.
Another parallel to Suikoden 1 is Vicky appears near Bridge.
Huh. You're right. Let's see, in 2, it's in the forest, so nothing there. Where'd she appear in 5? In 3, it's Mountain Pass. I don't remember where... Oh, she appears at the ruins, right? She's like auto-join even, like in your castle. If I recall correctly. So I think it's just between 1 and 4. But yeah, we will be getting Vicky now, which is very nice. And because we're doing things for fun, let's swap the formation.
Yeah, it's not called the blinking mirror in this game, it's the glowing hand mirror.
Yes. The upgraded version, in my opinion, because it's just better. Now, the reason it's better is because you don't need to be on the world map to use it. You can use it anywhere. Whereas the blinking mirror...
right next to the mirror.
Yeah. You just teleport right back to where you were. We actually use it to move around the boat sometimes. Like, if you wake up in your bedroom and you have to go to the second floor, you just use the mirror, because it's faster than running.
Vicky just looking at you like, was it really necessary?
Yes, it's always necessary. Vicky is our leader now, by the way. She'll be leading the army from now on. Laszlo's just being a passenger. I don't think you'll be seeing much more Chipu equip Basic Sword. I think it's like in one more war battle and that's it. I went a little bit too far down there. You gotta go past that rock in front of us right now. If you get too close to it, it'll just kind of like push you off of it, but I didn't need to go as far down as I did. What I should have done is switch the camera mode so I could see where I was going, but it's not too important. Also, hey, we're in the town. We should be safe from random battles, right? Wrong. You can get random battles on this screen and another screen in here. But we didn't get one, so that was cool. Alright, so now we gotta go talk to some people so we can hear about some rumors of a rune mistress.
Sounds scandalous.
Oh, what's he say the first time? Just between you and me, I think that rune master may be coming to this hot spring. You heard about her, right? She's the lady staying at the rune shop right now. I think I'll be watching all these cutscenes. And like reading the text here. Always entertaining to see what people are saying about Jean. We do see Trondheim reign back the third, but not for too long. Did you see her? The lady at the rune shop? Wow! Say that again.
Alright, here's a trivia question for you.
Welcome.
What's the only main Suikoden game not to have a Stoltenheim
I
Rhineback
knew it.
reference.
All the customers have been of your sort lately.
And only the
My
main game, so
business is
not the
being
side.
ruined.
I'm gonna say 3. It's 3 or 5. I'm just gonna guess 3.
It's 5. 3, I believe, it's either Nash or Chris uses it as their alias.
Huh. I doubt Chris would use it. I guess maybe Nash? Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm guessing Chapter 2, Chapter 3 of Chris.
And then,
What?
2 Flick does it before going to Green Hill. Actually, Neo slash chose that name earlier. And
Nice.
then, I believe, I'm not sure if I was paying quite enough attention when Tom was doing his run before this, if he chose Stoltenheim Rhineback at the Fortress of Qual.
Nice. I know about both of those. I generally don't bother because matching is easier. It's always a nice touch. If it used it a bit more often, it'd be really cool, I feel, but it just kind of glosses over it. Especially in Green Hill, it's just, oh hey, you named your character, that's cool. 2 magic rings, and then, okay, magic rings. Let me make sure I got this right. Okay, and then we're gonna use some stones. Oh, actually, before I forget, I always forget this, but this time I remembered. I'll use some stones of speed on Jean so she can guarantee outspeed the level up battle we'll be doing. And glowing hammer. And now we're gonna teleport back to Mortal Island. It's not that we need anything in Mortal, it's the fastest, it's the closest spot to where we need to go. Which is Kika's Nest of Pirates. And that's where we'll be continuing the story. Alright, where are we? Yeah, that looks about right. I'll switch to
This game, I'd say, is better experience when you experience it with tactics, but not everybody likes tactical RPG. But the transfer really and the story is kind of.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I feel like playing tactics adds a lot to this game. If you don't, it's just like it feels like an incomplete story. It feels like tactics actually kind of completes it.
And Zero already kind of went over, things that maybe you'd want changed. Just the endless sea kind of, if it was a little bit quicker or.
Yeah, no sailing in tactics. That is nice. I mean, technically, time does pass when you move around, but not literal time. It's just like the in-game day counter.
Is having less characters in battle like easier? Since like you run the other games, like is having less management like just feel better?
It's always a good thing if you can get by with less characters, just because it takes less time to add them, less time to like defend with them if they don't do anything. But it really depends. Like, there's some segments you definitely want more characters for, just because you need to beat like hard bosses or something, or you want to do some recruitment or do some setup. So, I'd say you want to minimize your characters if you can, but you don't want to take it too far. Just bring the minimum that you need.
Tom is actually talking about that when he didn't mean to at first do like the Kryn and Kasumi initially, like when he did it like many runs ago, and just have those 3, but then just like, hey, let's try it anyways, and then he ended up getting through that, and then it kind of became.
Yeah, well, that instance is kind of unique because the RNG manipulation for Moravia is dependent on how fast you do the party menu, because RNG is advancing during that menu. So it's a pretty big error point. It's like if you mess up the menu, you mess up the RNG minute. And if you don't add anyone to your party, it's kind of hard to mess up the menu. You just mash cancel. So if that works out optimally, that's really good because it makes the manip really easy. It's not so much for like the gameplay aspect as it is the RNG manipulation aspect. And I was kind of surprised when I saw him do that. I thought that was super cool because that's not done in any other category. You always bring people. That was the first time I've seen it. Really neat setup. Yeah, Kika is really powerful, but the funny thing about Kika is because of how the camera works when she does her Falcon Rune attack, you can't actually see how much damage she's doing. So I'd like to plan out my giant tree fight better and see how much damage I'm doing. Maybe optimize it a bit more, but I can't tell how much I'm doing because it's just the damage counter is off screen. Yeah, it's a bit of an oversight. I don't know why that wasn't fixed up or anything. I'm sure there's some kind of solution they could have done for that, but it's not too big a deal. Also, Kika and the hero actually have a really good unite attack where they hit all enemies. It's like a buddy attack, essentially. You have like 2 or the Master Pupil attack of 1 with Kai. But once again, to unlock unites in this game, you gotta do battles with like characters together in the party. And we won't be doing enough to ever unlock it. Hey, I'll save before Giant Tree. I'll try to see if I can get the soft lock for the memes. Suikoden 4, as far as I know, features the only final boss fight where you can soft lock the game for no reason at all. The game just crashes. I don't know if it happens on PS2. I've only ever played this on PS3 through PlayStation Classic. But yeah, that's a thing. The game can just crash on Giant Tree after you beat it. And that's always fun. Fun to see.
I told you about that soft lock in the final dungeon of Suikoden 5.
Yeah, I had to deal with like the maze, right? You said you put yourself in a position where you couldn't escape anymore.
Yeah, the elevators. One elevator activate. Like all the elevators generally reset, but this one doesn't. So most people wouldn't experience it. But if say like you got in a whole bunch of battles and you were just really weakened, and you switched to a different one of the 3 parties and then left the dungeon, that elevator would remain in the upright position and the switch was already hit on the side to lower it, so it would just forever be up and unable to advance.
Wow, that's so weird. I'm not surprised that kind of thing was missed. It seems like a little bit of a tricky dungeon. I can see an oversight being there. Oh, it's not
And
that
that's
complicated.
The stairs of Suikoden 4 seem to triumph over elevators and that one.
By the way, you ever notice how excessive the stairs are in the final dungeon? Like, there's apparently 4 floors to the building. Then you go to the 4th floor of Eleanor. And then the Plaza, you go to the 4th floor, get the key, go back down to the 2nd floor, and then there's just a winding staircase that lasts for like 5 minutes. And then there's a giant tree at the top of the staircase.
It builds up the atmosphere. Hey, there's our buddy again.
Hey, yeah, Snow, old friend, nice to see you. I wish. He wants to fight us. He thinks we've joined up with pirates, and his with Razor, so he's like, yeah, I'm better than you, let's fight. Okay, replace now Vicky. Add Pablo, and then remove Sigurd, remove Herbie, and we should be good. So I actually rerouted this battle. Sorry, go ahead.
Snow has become the pirate like task commander, or he's task. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like he's a pirate hunter essentially now under Kuluk, because Kuluk sort of conquered Gaian.
Well, not even conquered. Razro. Yeah, but Snow essentially just gave it up to get him like a good post with them. And now he goes and hunts
they were
pirates.
going to get obliterated by the Navy. They really had no... They're a whole bunch of cadets, and Gaian really isn't interested in protecting its colony. Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I agree, but Snow... Well, the population of Razro wasn't happy with Snow. Said he essentially gave up without a fight. Not sure what options they had, but they were not happy. I was gonna say, originally this battle was done with a boarding party on Lazo. That ship we just took out, I used to have Lazo swim up to it and board it. This was the first battle with a board. But since we don't have too many powerful party members at this point, it was kind of inconsistent, and I found this strat instead, where you just take it out with 4 rune cannons. Before, you could have people miss, and you only had like 2 good fighters for that fight. So, it was a little bit iffy. Plus, you gotta keep in mind that even though I have a lot of OP gear, Okay, hold on. This camera angle is terrible for this part. Even though I have a lot of OP gear, I do have double strike runes on all my main fighters, which means they take extra physical damage. So there was actually a chance of losing the battle. Whereas now, no such issues. His arm is never okay. You saw how badly he hurt his arm, Seglan, so there's no recovering from that.
So now I believe we're trying to liberate places now, or actually like, sort of taking the offensive?
Not quite yet. Right now we're just chasing Snow. He's pissed us off, we're gonna go get him. 300...
Still sort of taking the offensive, chasing him down.
Yeah. Just not necessarily against Kuluk. I guess he is working for Kuluk, so a little bit. But it's more just, Snow, Screw your arm, we're gonna get you. He was rowing it with one arm, obviously, Lance. He couldn't have rowed it with 2 arms. His arm was too injured. My god, one of his arms must be so much stronger than his other arm right now. Right, we're swinging back to Razril. That's where Snow fled to. We're just gonna sail over there. On the way, though, we want to find a level up battle. This is essentially the only level up battle we do in the whole run outside of the early game pre-battle grind we have to do to get level 5, or the story won't continue. We're gonna look for 3 birds or 4 birds. We're group of 4 essentially. But we have to get a little bit closer to Razril, so the groups change. Right now, all the enemies we see here are really weak. They're like base enemies you see at the start of the game. Or near the start, anyway. And once we get closer to Razril, we'll start to see enemies a little bit closer to our level. We're going to use those to level up Jean and Vicky so they unlock level 4 spells. That's why we have to do it, because that's going to be crucial in the upcoming boss fight. It's actually a very unique boss fight. I don't know if there's any like it in other Suikoden games, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's one of the few boss fights where you actually can't use melee attacks. You can only use ranged and magic. And that's kind of what makes it so tricky, because fighters that can equip ogre gear, they're generally melee. And magic is, well, it's limited. This is a good fight. I'm going to take this. Okay. This is why I use Stones of Speed on Jean, by the way. If you don't, she can get outsped here, and Vicky can die if they get hits in on her. They actually do pretty good damage. That'll give me the magic I need. That was really early, too. Which is nice. It's also a hard boss fight, because if I recall correctly, it can hit your whole party at once. It has a fairly strong AoE attack that also statuses people. I don't remember if it was putting them to sleep or something else. I remember getting status healing items just for that fight. I think I have it as a backup still. Although I don't think we can use them anymore, because we don't equip them. I'm not sure. But it's kind of the hardest fight in the game, in my opinion, if you don't come into it completely prepared. Which we will be doing. We'll be one-turning it. Oh, here's another fun fact. So, I mentioned the Lulia earlier. It's the island that got blown up by that cannon that we caught on camera. And we can visit it at any point, essentially. Not any point, I think once we get our ship after Obel's attacked. But past a certain point in the game, the enemies change in there. And there happens to be an enemy in Lulia is only available during that time. It happens to be the only enemy that drops a certain crafting item. And in this game, you can craft, like, drops into certain items. And to get Thunder Magic Rings, there's only that item. Like, you need to get that item. You need to get 10 of them per Thunder Magic Ring. So you have to do it ahead of time, or it's just inaccessible. I had to go through my New Game Plus file again to get Thunder Magic Rings. I had to go there early and grind for battles quite a bit. I had to get, like, I think I got 3 Thunder Magic Rings, so I think it was, if I recall correctly, it was Horn. That was the item. It's been a while, so I could be wrong on that. And I had to get 30 of them. And the enemy is, like, somewhat rare. I wouldn't say it's really hard to find, but not easy. Also, kill Snow or save Snow? That is the question. We kill him. There's actually...
For time reasons.
Yes. That and because we wanted to put him out of the pain of having a bad arm. But we do actually need to get rid of him fairly quickly. Where do we TP here? That's the pirates. Okay, I remember. So, if you don't kill Snow, he eventually comes back and attacks you again. It gets you another war battle. So it's actually considerably slower to let him live. Exactly. Spare him the arm pain. Put him out of his misery. Save. Only Neo said save, but it's still one more vote than kill, so I guess we should have saved him. My bad. You can ask... Alexaster will save him for you, Neo, and 108-star run. He will avenge it.
The people of Razril sort of turning on Snow there, throwing like rocks and stuff at the ship as he's trying to dock, and the Kuluk soldiers that were occupying it really just like, whatever, let them throw rocks at him because they really didn't care. He's essentially like a third class, you know, not citizen.
Yeah. They literally don't care. Oh no, Snow got beat up. They won't let him dock. Whatever. I'm gonna go get a coffee, you know, get a meal, have some beer. Doesn't matter to us in the slightest.
You probably should get a strategist.
I'm not sure we need one, honestly. Like, how hard can it be? Here, go make allies with all the other island nations, attack Kuluk.
No.
Well,
I feel like I summarized the strategy pretty well for this game, don't you?
listen, I
But, it's kind of, Eleanor is considered, like, the worst strategist in all the main Suikoden games. She really doesn't do much. I think she has, like, one good strategy throughout the whole game, really.
She lights the ships on fire and runs them into other ones. So a fire.
Yeah, when we attack Fort Alio. But we actually kind of copied that from the Kuluk Empire. They did the same thing to us when we were retaking Obel. I think they weren't on fire, but they were just empty ships. And we had to use the Rune of Punishment on it because I think they were trying to crash into us or something. I don't remember. But forced us to use the Rune of Punishment.
She's second oldest known Silverberg we know of. Like Julian, who united the initial. Well, not united, but he was a strategist for the like ruling family of the Scarlet Moon Empire. Like when they were forming, he was the initial one, and then Eleanor, I think, is 23 years younger than Julian.
I get it! There's the thing I was talking about. I decided to do Voice of Death for the memes. And it just killed Laszlo. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Rune of Punishment. I just wanted to show that off. We actually got it to kill Laszlo there. That's why this thing isn't the best. So 10% chance, Fatal Self. I'm pretty sure it's not actually 10%. It feels a lot higher than that.
This is actually the model of the enemy he was just referencing that's in Aluya, but slightly different. It's a little more electrical looking that drops that.
Yeah, that's correct. It
For
did
trap.
look a lot like this one. Oh man, I'm so glad we got that. That's why we have the Mother Earth room, by the way. It's also really good on two other boss fights. One shot's Kage Mizuki, and it also is really good in the Little Daisy fight, which we have coming up. And here it's good too. In theory, you can do it with 2 attacks or Voice of Death, but as you guys can see, Voice of Death isn't reliable, and it can get a little sketchy with attacks, if I recall correctly. It was like a range. And I think it took 3 attacks if you didn't have double strike on. Can we save Little Daisy? I'm sorry to disappoint, but I don't think there's a dialogue option for that one, Chrono. For anyone not familiar with Little Daisy, she shows up in Suikoden 2. That's the girl that Neckward brings back before the Abomination fight to try to get Neckward to try to get Victor to not fight him. And then Victor cuts her head off. She actually makes an appearance in this game as well, but she looks a little bit different. We'll be seeing her soon enough, though.
Were we just
What were you saying?
by tea again? I said we were just drugged again by tea.
Oh, we were drugged earlier. I think it was actually by meat. They poisoned the meat.
Wow.
The pirates just like dug in. They couldn't resist, but Laszlo apparently took it easy and was able to move. That's why we were by ourselves during that whole sequence, because the pirates were still knocked out. Sadly, no, the good arm is lost forever in that first war battle. Lost at sea. Alright, so there we go. We got our strategist. Okay, get back on the ship. Look how big the ship looks right here, by the way. It looks so massive. That's a long ship. And that's what I mean, like, this is one of the things I like about Suikoden 4. You have a pretty good camera. You can actually look around, enjoy the view a bit. The models have some detail to them. One of the nicer touches. Alright, where are we? Alright, glowing hand mirror. Alright, so we got 2 cutscenes here, and then we got some options. Lino wants to fight us to see who leads the army, essentially. So we're gonna tell him, wait a minute, and then we're gonna tell him we accept his challenge, and then he doesn't fight us. because he's scared. I have no idea. It's really weird how the game essentially lets you skip that duel by accepting his challenge, but there's normally a duel there if you don't pick those dialogue options. Is that her wiki, actually? That is her ending, more or less. Alright, party. Kenneth, Gene. War Room Turbo option 1 depart. Okay.
How does Desmond stack up to being the placeholder for luck, I guess, looking after this?
Not bad. I can't complain. Ain't no Leona, but better than Sanchez. Who do you think is the best party management character throughout the series?
Because he always offers you one.
You're like cutting out really hard for me. Well, I'm gonna try rejoin the call request. That was probably really loud. Sorry, stream. Anyway, try again.
I said because Sanchez always offers you wine.
True, that is nice. He's just trying to get you to forget his betrayal, really. Trying to keep you boozed up so you don't notice the suspicious things that he does. At least that's my headcanon for it. I'm gonna use the map here because this alignment feels wrong to me. So one of the things you can do in Suikoden 4 is you can actually set up your path with the minimap. Open it up, put like an X. My analog stick on this controller isn't the best, so that's good enough, I guess. I'll adjust it slightly to the left and we'll be fine. Yeah, Bar Lady from 2 is Leona. I'm personally a fan of her. She's pretty cool. Lucerina from 5 is also a nice one. Who do we have in 3 again?
Didn't. Oh, wait, for party management? Sebastian. Sorry, I thought we were talking about Stone Tablet person.
I think for Stone Tablet, I think Zarase wins that one, in my opinion.
But yeah, the Butler, Sebastian, of 3 does character management.
Yeah, Sebastian was a funny character. He gets props. He ain't no traitor like Sanchez. Alright, there we go, lined up. So we actually have a... I want to say difficult, but it's not going to look difficult in this run. Boss fight coming up with Little Daisy. I mentioned earlier, Little Daisy is one of the only boss fights in the whole series, I think. They can't hit with melee attacks. And I've been using that the whole run up until now. That's why it's important to get Vicky and Jean, so we have good magic. But with the setup we have, we can hit Little Daisy with an incredibly powerful magic spell, and it'll make the fight fairly quick. Who's Aresh? Last I checked, the last star in what's it called? Suikoden 5 is actually Urim Barrows. Alright. So yeah. As you can see, I can't attack. It's grayed out, but we can still use magic. So we're going to do an Earthquake. Kenneth actually can't do anything at all. And then we're going to Flame Array, which is the Rune Knight between lightning and fire in this game. It's actually kind of cool how often Rune Knights are used in series. It's really important in 2. It's used here. Not a lot. I think it's actually the only battle you use it, but it is here. I'm not sure how often it's used in 5 or 3. I don't think it's used in 3, actually. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's in 3. Because of the casting system in Suikoden 3. With things taking time. And yeah, that was Little Daisy. Looked a little bit different from her appearance in Suikoden 2, but... yeah, I need to change my party here. Not you, though. Not you either. Reno, Kika, and Herbie. Yeah, I don't think there's Rune Knights. I don't remember ever using them. But it still feels weird to have a game with no Rooney Knights.
Took me a moment to realize what Daisy you're talking about from Suikoden 2.
Yeah, that's Moving Island right there, but it's actually... What was this guy's name? Shoreline Rainback the Third's dad? I guess it's just the second. I can't remember his name, but that's his pet. That's his pet right there. Little Daisy's his pet. And he's kind of upset that we killed her. Luckily, we don't tell him about that until we make our alliance, so it's all good. Yeah, Rainback the Second, that was his name. There we go. And here is Rainback the Third telling him about little Daisy. F and chat for little Daisy, please. Recruit Rainback. I can. He actually has a pretty long recruitment quest. He's not a bad fighter too, but not good enough to go out of your way to get. There you go. You offer him to get on the boat, but he just won't, because I think he needs some, like, token of appreciation. If I recall correctly, it was like a rose brooch kind of thing. Alright, going hand mirror. Okay, teleport to Nay. Sorry this isn't the fastest run ever. I'm a little bit rusty in 4. I don't play this game too much anymore, but we'll still definitely get underestimate, even with all the messing around. Actually, I don't want to do formation here because they're going to get kicked out. So I'll mess with that in a little bit. Roseridge? Okay, yeah. Classic Roseridge person. Alright, this time I'm going to talk to this guy a few extra times, just to make sure, because the last run I did on my stream, I didn't talk to him enough, and I didn't actually trigger the quest properly. But yeah, this is another leader of an island that we need to get to join us, and why am I running out? I have a going hand mirror. Well, I should have maybe committed to it at that point. Yeah, it's the only game with a literal Rainback. Alright, double strikes to everyone. Double strike for you. Double strike for you. Double strike for you. And double strike for you. And you might notice we don't have any more. This is the exact amount that we need. Here's some hammers we found. The one chest we did pick up in this whole run was in, like, by Eleanor's house. It was a hammer that lets us sharpen our weapon to 12. Rainback plus goat fusion. That sounds horrific. So, just sharpening up our weapons. These will all be like endgame fighters right here. These 4 plus Kenneth will be my 5 physical fighters that I use at the end. Or, well, before the end too, but in my final parties. Yeah, I never replayed Tactics in New Game Plus to get that one girl either. I heard she's incredibly OP though. That girl that gives you the quest, I can't remember her name. She's supposed to be really... What was it?
Lolical.
Yeah, that was her. Have you gotten her?
I have not played New Game Plus, but I really want to. I've only played Tactics one time, it was last year, but I really liked it. But yeah, I liked her before I knew that she was playable.
Yeah, I thought she was an interesting character. I never played her myself, though. She's supposed to be really strong. I just never got to use her.
She's a fist fighter.
Yeah. With really good stats, I think. Oh, why did... I'm not supposed to do going hand mirror. I'm supposed to depart. But yeah, the whole quest for Nay, for anyone wondering, you literally just gotta go talk to the chief, get on your boat, enter again, and go talk to the chief again. That's all you gotta do. And that's how you finish the Nay Island, like, cooperation segment. Really isn't much to it. You can't teleport there. If you teleport there, it doesn't count. It has to enter, but you have to enter by boat again. That's why we swam back. That's it. And we finished this part of the story now. You also get 2 characters. These were the 2 people that washed up from Mabuya after it got destroyed. They healed up, and now they join our army. We'll never see them again. They're just... I don't think they're fighters, but even if they are, we never use them. That was a very early battle. I just barely turned my ship around. I haven't even started moving forward yet. Alright, so I'm gonna change the camera here so I don't crash into that rock again. Yeah, Laszlo's Rune of Punishment was much better in Tactics. But I think he has like the Forgiven True Rune of Punishment at that point. Because I think you only get him if you transfer over best ending data. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's just any kind of data. But it's like, I think it's implied that's like 108 stars he survives using the Rune of Punishment, so it's the upgraded version. Hey man, have you seen these awesome character models? I'm sure that's why. Also, quick vote in chat. Who do you guys want leading the party? Lino, Kika, or Herbie? I have my guess on who's gonna win. But for this segment, I'll change my leader, so quick vote in chat. Let me know. Alright.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually pretty close. Okay, not close anymore.
Trying to even it out. Who's the third option? I don't even know who you said.
Herbie. One of the pirates. This guy right here. Oh, there's a delay, so maybe it's not like matched up perfectly, but our 4th character. Anyway, it looks like the winner's Kika. I am absolutely shocked. The girl with the back tattoo winning the leader slot. Who would have guessed? But there we go. Snow. No cool. We don't have no cool. Save that for Alex Zaster's run tomorrow. You can ask him. So here we're going to go get our 3rd leader. We still have Kulak soldiers in here. How did this go? There we go. You want to have Herbie and Lino attack the same person because they're both less accurate, so odds are at least one of them will hit. Kika and Vazel have better accuracy, so you can afford to have them attack like different targets. A bunch of sips. No. We can swap it around too. Maybe I'll switch to Lino for like the second half of this island. Because I think this is the last time we'll be able to have Lino lead. As always, we have an amazing running animation. Look at those arms go. That's completely understandable, Close to War. I played it casually and I just I didn't even want to touch it after that for a speedrun. Seemed painful. I think it was cutscene skip in New Game Plus, but still. Doesn't seem that fun to me. Getting quite a few battles here. This walk, generally, you don't see too many. I feel like it's two at most. We've gotten 3 already. It's not too bad, though. I honestly like 4's war battles more than I like 2's. Because once you understand 2's, you realize they're all scripted and it's all RNG. Whereas 4's actually aren't scripted, and there's some skill. You can beat them the same way every time, kind of. There isn't too much RNG in them, but they're at least... Actually, it feels like what you're doing actually matters in 4. Unlike in 2. Alright, there we go. We'll switch to Lino for a bit. We had Kika for a bit, now we'll have Lino. And this flip-flop, what is this run animation? This is great.
Looks like he's like doing that flossing dance.
Yeah.
He's flossing while walking.
Oh man, I've never seen this. I've never had Lino as my leader before. This is great. I'm doing this every run now. I don't care if I lose time. This is amazing.
I mean, his jorts are something to be seen.
Yeah.
Like to be seen.
Oh man, it gives Laszlo a run for his money. Now we know who Laszlo gets it from. That's his dad right there. It's actually genetic. The shorts are genetic.
What? Xenophobic elves again?
This is definitely not a recurring theme in the series. I don't know if I'll be able to stop laughing.
Does Lino have to leave? Can he stay for the rest of the run?
Sadly, he does leave. I'd have to reroute on the fly if I wanted to try to work him in, because he is in one more part of the run, but in that part of the run we have Eleanor as the leader and we can't switch it. Like, before we fight Cray. So I won't be able to put him in front there, sadly. Hey, I don't. You have to use him when you get 10. So Alexaster, you know what you have to do tomorrow. You can do the ghost ship sequence.
The camera where you can see his like front.
I don't know how much I can move the camera. Oh, actually,
yeah.
We're out of time anyway. It's time to actually play the game. Unlucky. Because after this, you won't be in my party anymore. Alright, so Lino 1. Get 2. Actually, I kind of like this for menuing. It's a little bit more fluid.
They just hated humans with iron stuff on them.
I mean, that's fair. I feel like if you're wearing iron stuff all the time, you can't be up to anything good, really. But there's like, the elf solution was basically, hey, these cool guys suck, but also these human guys also suck, so we're just gonna poison everyone. When they steal our elven remedy. That was the thing, by the way, the elven remedy was poison. And Selma, she wasn't cool with that, so she guides us over there. Well, she breaks us out of the prison. After she guides us over there. Where are we?
Did we talk about the villains at all? Like all their cutscenes?
The villains? Not really. We haven't really mentioned them. Yeah, feel free. I gotta focus on my menu here for a moment.
So we talked about the Cray Trading Company. So he's actually like the governor of the Kuluk. What's the Fort Yal in that area? He sort of has his like own table of baddies there, which has Troy at it. Troy's friend Colton, and then also Graham Cray is there. And Graham Cray's got some crazy eyes, first off. But I think at this point in the game, you kind of see that Graham is trying to have the governor trying to turn a little bit toward turn against Troy in some ways. Like Troy keeps saying, like, we shouldn't do this. We should do it this way because this way would be better. Like, why are we destroying, like, Aluya, for instance, when they blew up Aluya? He's like, I thought that was going to be, like, our place for setting up a forward base. But they're like, no, let's just use this weapon. So they kind of keep ignoring Troy's advice. And Graham keeps getting more and more power, like, sort of, I guess.
I just want to point something out real quick related to Ron. I just had my this has never happened before moment. My Vicky didn't get her third rune slot, so I can't throw a wizard rune on her, which is kind of a big deal. We'll make do. I think I know how I'll try to back this up. It's just obviously kind of bad. And then Vicky best equip. I think I get to the Thunder Magic Rings. There we go. We had a decent level up battle too, so that's really surprising. I didn't expect to run into this. I think I've ran into it before, but not of a good level up battle. She just probably got really bad magic growth. So cool thing about this game, actually, we haven't mentioned is rune slots in this game aren't based off of like they're not premeditated kind of. Like in 2, certain characters get certain rune slots available at certain time, like certain levels. In this game, it's based off your magic. Every 60 magic, you get another rune slot, essentially. So what probably happened is that my Vicky had bad magic and then got some bad growths and just barely missed that rune slot. Actually, let me see. I'm curious now. Wait, what am I doing? So she has 170. Oh my god. I have all my equipment on her, so I can't actually tell. What we're gonna do this. I'm not sure if this is gonna work. We're gonna try. We will have access to a rune shop here. It's gonna take us more time, but we're just gonna check out the rune shop here and try to equip it now. The condition is I think we have to level up, and I'm not sure if we'll level up off the 1-force fight we do here. Four seems to have that effect on people. It's also not too bad though. Alright. War battle time. So this is a battle war. We'll be using board for the first time, and it's also the only time we no. We use it twice now, I think. Lino, Tao, how do I get Chipu in here? Tao, Kenneth, and Hervey, if I recall correctly. There we go, and we're done. Trans battle. Kika just surrenders right away. We don't need her unit, and then we move this way. And then we just board this ship. So, and this is the leadership. Once you beat this ship, the battle ends. Tal is the most unreliable person here. We really want him to not miss. He has the lowest level, accuracy, weapon level at this point. But he did a good job. Wait, one-turned it. Wait. Who missed? Was that Hervey? Hervey! Hervey! What are you doing? God damn it.
Can't confirm it was Hervey. And then Tal missed after.
Yeah. Hervey missed twice, Tal missed once. Disappointing. Okay, what was option 1? We do get helmet. It doesn't really matter, I think, if you get them or not. It's a little bit easier just to get them. So here, Joe asks us if we kill the commander. Okay, we're cool now. We'll join you again. Also, pet the kitty. Yeah. So, we're essentially recruiting people from Razor. We want them to show up to the trading hall and listen to us talk. So we need to talk to 7 NPCs that are NPCs that will go with you. And it just so happens that the screen after that hallway has quite a few, but there's just not enough NPCs outside of it that we don't have to go there, so we don't have to backtrack after. We should get the 2 in the hallway there, and then we turn around and get the other ones, which is very nice. One of the route improvements that I made when I picked this category up before I used to go there. There's just enough that you can do this. So that's 5. There's this lady hiding over here, but can't escape me. There you go. And that should be 7. We should get a cutscene here if I didn't mess anything up. Yeah, should be good. Cutscene, option 1, cutscene, then we have a fight here. Oh, here's a... I'm gonna have Jean attack here, which may seem weird because she does less than 5 damage. But Jean actually has a lot of speed rings on, so she's really quick. And what happens when she attacks him is that she slows down that knight, and now Laszlo outspeeds him, because Laszlo is actually slower than him sometimes. So that guarantees that Laszlo goes before him. That knight can sometimes do magic attacks, which they don't threaten me, they're not going to kill me, but they are slow. So we throw in that 1 extra Jean attack just for consistency.
What are you?
And here's the table that Dreamy was talking about. They're plotting their evil stuff.
Yeah.
Also, you might notice that there was a character here before that's gone now.
Now,
The governor is MIA at the moment. Troy and the other guy, I can't remember his name at the moment. Don't
Colton.
know. What was it?
Colton?
Colton, there you go. Yeah. By the way, that's the guy we recruited, Helmut, right now. That's actually his son. That's Colton's son right there. Alright. I wasn't paying enough attention. I didn't see if I leveled up. Let's just check if I can equip that wizard rune now. I don't think I'll be able to, but it'd be nice if I could.
So now we've liberated Middleport and Razoril, and also Naval. Wait, Nay? Naynal? Which one's the one we were just at with the elves?
That one is Naval. And the one with the kobolds, although we don't go to the kobold section recently, that one's Nay. That's why it's called Nay Kobold, because they're
So
from Nay.
all that's left. All that remains is to liberate Obel, where the king is initially from, where we got our boat.
That's the last, well, not splits up, but that would be the last retaking split. We're gonna retake Obel, and then we're gonna attack Fort Elio not long after that. That's like my biggest complaint in terms of this game's plot. The mid game is incredibly short. It's like, hey, you got your castle, you got your strategist, time to do stuff. And you guys saw how quickly we got through all the like alliances. Usually takes hours in this week in the game. Here we did it in like 20 minutes. I think we go to, where do we go again? Hermitage Island. Like, this game is severely lacking in the mid-game. Alright, so now we gotta go to Nest of Pirates. Just for next cutscenes. I don't think it's ever even mentioned that you have to go here, but this is where you gotta go to continue the story. I'm trying to remember if it gave you any hints as to, like, hey, you gotta go here now, because after you, sleep in your bed in, like, in Laszlo's old room in Razril, it doesn't really tell you anything. And that's like this last story event in that segment. Oh, so this girl, she wants to be an assistant strategist, if I recall correctly. She wants to see Eleanor. I could be wrong on that, it's been a while. But we just ignore her. Don't need her, so we won't be recruiting her.
Don't.
And we get some more exposition, some more cutscenes that we will be turboing through and skipping through. You might have noticed that the governor was in the cell there, and Ramada broke in, see what's going on in Fort Elio. He actually runs into Cray right around there, and runs into some trouble. Alright, now we gotta teleport to Mordo. Once again, Mordo, we don't actually do anything here in 90%, but it's in a good spot where, and it's available for teleporting always. It's like, it's fairly close to Obel, it's fairly close to Nay. It's fairly close to Nest of Pirates, so it's just a good metal point to like teleport around from. That's why we go there. That is a good question. I'll probably have to go with Flare. If it's a Suikoden 4 exclusive character, it's probably Flare. If it's like games that appear in multiple games, I might be a bit more favored towards like Ted or Jean or Vicky. In terms of unique characters, it's definitely Flare. Because, you know, who doesn't like a good princess? Sadly, you never really get to use her. She joins, Mitsuma's cool too. I was gonna say, Flare is unavailable for like the vast majority of the game. You only get to use her, or you get her back after this war battle here. And then there's only like one war battle and one dungeon left after. That's SRD's favorite character. What about Champo? I don't think she's OP in tactics. I think she's strong. Which ship was it? Yeah, Grishan. Okay. And then I gotta give you Captain. And then we're gonna have a fairly long menu here. Oh, it's not that long. It's me long because I don't remember how to do it. Remove Laszlo, Rune Cannon, add Jean Shabu. Remove Kenneth, we know Kenneth. Reduce underlings to 29 and add Laszlo back. The reason you remove Laszlo is to get rid of his underlings. He has like 50 underlings that go with him. You want to bring that number down before you take out, like, before you remove some manually. And if you remove some underlings manually, when you add more people that have underlings with them back into your ship, it doesn't automatically increase them. So there is some RNG here. Next turn, the ship on the right is going to move and attack me. If he uses lightning, it's going to take me an extra turn. If he uses water, the battle ends there. But this is why we reduce our underlings, so we can get like 2 attacks in before these guys can attack us. It did lightning, so it's an extra turn. Honestly, I think this game has a lot of cool girl characters, but I don't feel like you get a lot of background on a lot of them. Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool mechanic for the speedrun. It lets you do things, like the underlings are way more important than they appear to be, because they affect your speed quite a bit. I think it's a decent bit in. I actually forgot about those. Those are pretty interesting units.
Kill me.
See,
What of
you try.
it? With a.
No.
What?
I haven't used Rachel enough to really comment on her HP stat. Oh yeah, and then there's the owls too. Or was it just the owls? It's, like I said, it's been a while since I've played Tactics. Alright, so next war battle, it's just 2 ships here. Just Mysterious Fleet, as they call it. And yeah, this is a very difficult war battle. These ships, they don't actually do anything. They don't move, they don't attack, they don't do anything. So we just swim up with Jean, rune cannon them, and they're both down. Turns out, it was a trap. They don't stop swimming, they just keep on going towards your ships. So what you have to do is rune of punishment them. We just match cutscene skip a lot. I don't remember how many cutscenes there are. I think we still got like one. There's a turbo.
No.
The fleet.
Ice.
Very. Oh.
Nay. Was that the treasure person? I did use them quite a bit actually, the treasure person. That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah, it's like fun to dig stuff up and find things. There's some really good gear you can find in certain maps. But at the same time, squishy. Like, so squishy, and I hate perma-losing characters. So like, hey, battle's almost over, one skeleton manages to barely get in range, walks up, crits, Renee's dead, and it's just sad. I had that happen with the nurse character once. What were you saying, Dreamy?
There's your old commander. I think that was
Yeah,
Glenn, right?
that was Glenn. That was the last Rune of Punishment scene. Oh, no, that's not true. We get one at the very end. With the previous Rune of... Like, the Rune of Punishment bear before Brando, if I recall correctly. Actually, no. Brando got it from someone else as well. Like, another pirate, if I recall correctly. It's mentioned in Tactics. Tactics expands quite a bit more on Rune of Punishment bears. And rune cannons.
Oh, Steel?
Yeah, that was it. And the assassin is actually Brando's, like... I was gonna say system, that's not the right word. Like, his amigo, his friend. That, like, he pirated with. We saw him very briefly, but Assassin was like just like a monster in this game that we fought, and that's because he was affected by Rune Cannon.
By the way.
He goes into that way more in Tactics. Okay, separate tax force. We know Kenneth and not Jean, Vicky.
Okay. Look. We must.
If that's.
Yeah, that was his name back. Props to you guys. You guys all know so much lore. I don't remember a lot of this stuff. I never spent too much time with 4 and Tactics, but it's all left my brain at this point. Okay, back to War Room. Yes, I am ready. Victory will be ours. Let's go. Alright, here's a turbo. This is another, like, so we're gonna end up on, like, the deck of the ship here. And we can still going hand mirror here. It's actually faster to run this time. Because the going hand mirror puts you on the 2nd floor, and our bedroom's on the 1st floor. And from this screen, we can enter on the first floor. Ends up being quicker. Oh, nice. Let's put fish equal laser. I'm having so much trouble remembering. There's like, I feel like the hardest part of running New Game Plus in Suikoden 4 is you don't really get to remember what the plot is. So you're just constantly like, hey, where do I need to go now? If you're running quite a bit, you just get used to it, but if you're not super active, it's just really hard to remember because there isn't much downtime. So, Eleanor sneaking to Fort Elio to do something. In Kray's office. I think disable the rune cannon, if I recall correctly. Is the idea. Also, there happens to be a key that we need in Kray's office. And Eleanor's group goes there anyway, but instead of bringing it down to us or something, they just vanish, and then we had to go up to the 4th floor ourselves and go get that key. Which means we could have disabled the rune cannon ourselves, because we had to go up there anyway, so... yeah. That's always bugged me. Not to a point where it's like 1 and 2. You take some extra battles here and there just for extra levels, but... there is no, like, huge level jump. There, like, kobolds with 1 or... various fights with 2. Alright, chip setup. Sigurd. You get Flare. And then you get Haruto. This might seem like a weird call. I'll explain why we do this in a second. And then we get Laszlo Kika into fighters, because we will be boarding with the ship. And then I need to throw someone in here, so we'll just throw Naoyo. It's going to surrender right away. So Haruto, he is not a like particularly strong commander, fairly slow, bad movement, nothing special about him. But what he does have going for him is he has the longest range rune cannon. He can hit 5 tiles away. And that's what we'll be taking advantage of with him. Yeah, ever since Suikoden 2, I think they limited it to 10 levels max. Because of how it could be abused in 2. Also, if I had any less underlings, this is why we have Chippu in the group, even though we don't use him. I need him for the underlings, because if I was any faster, I'd go before the ship on the right there, and I wouldn't be able to hit them both at once. Alright, so here is the RNG part of the fun run, or at least one of them. Not run, fight. I wanted to use Water Rune here, which it did this time. Nice, so we killed that ship. If it used lightning, they wouldn't have damaged each other. I know it would take me longer. That makes it very easy. Now we just go up here and we board. That ship right there is really hard to beat with rune cannons. Troy's ship has 4 different elements and 220 underlings. It's a big pain in the butt to try to take that out with rune cannons. So we just board it, and just like that, that ship's done. Tal once again pulled through. He can miss.
Nobody
here.
missed.
Yeah, nobody missed. Tal was the most likely to miss. But, they all did good. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. We have Lino in our party here, but we have to run around as Eleanor. We can't change the formation to somebody else as the leader. But at least we get to run around as a new character.
So Tal is like the victor of accuracy for this game?
I feel like that's a very good comparison. He really does feel like a victor. A little bit less extreme, I feel. Because, like, one-handed sword, it feels like it was a little bit more nimble. Has a bit higher speed and, like, a little bit better accuracy. But he's the guy that's like, hey, I do a lot of damage, but I don't always hit. Oh, where am I going? Oops. I'm on the wrong floor. Oh, well. Also, best way to navigate these is first-person camera. Well, not at this angle, but it'll fix itself on the next screen. I'd also noticed that when you took 3 characters with me. That's because, ideally, we only need 3. If no one misses, if someone misses, it can get a little ugly, but still not scary. But 3 characters, you do enough damage. We have 1 boss fight with this group. We don't do any level up battles because they don't need them. And we're just gonna hopefully kill the boss here in 1 turn. The guy that's been getting hyped up this whole game is the main villain. We're gonna fight Kray. If I can get into the door. Alright, so it's just attack, attack, and then you don't attack. You Heavenly Thunder. This is why we get those Thunder Magic Rings, by the way. Those add on quite a bit of damage to the spell. I think it's like, I don't remember the base. It's like 1500 or something. It's not 2000. But we hit for 2200 there. And that doesn't number on Cray. He has 4000 HP. We hit him for like 4100. And we find Armada in here, and Eleanor does some stuff, and then we have to go back to the office to get the key there anyway. Alright, so final party, we will be bringing Kika, Jean, and Herbie. And then real quick, we're going to do this. A treat for the stream. This is the last time we'll be able to change formations, so we're going to run around this Jean.
But the governor died from, I don't know, being in prison and not fed or something, but it turns out Cray put him in there, so that's why he was sort of in charge that last fight.
Yep. The governor was betrayed by Cray. Cray's just after his own ambitions, is that guy. Yeah, I'm totally working with you for trying to help you, but he's in it for completely for himself.
He was also a student of Eleanor, Cray was, so
yes.
They're acquainted.
He was also a former Rune of Punishment bearer. He actually used to have a son.
That's why you would have seen his... if you looked at his hand, it was made out of metal.
Yes. He cut off his arm to get rid of the Rune of Punishment. That's like the arm you see in Obel when you go past the ruins. That was Cray's arm. But, I think originally it went from his son to him, right? If I recall correctly. I don't remember if he cut his hand off and then the son got it. I think it was his son had it. He died from the Rune of Punishment and then Cray got it. And Cray saw what it did, so he cut off his own arm. But now he's trying to get the Rune of Punishment back, because it gives you visions, as you've seen, when like things happen with it, and he wants to see his son again. That's what like all this is really about. He wants to see his son through the Rune of Punishment. Also, I'd really like to see a group of 3 at some point, because I'd like to kill one for XP. Group of 4 is kind of hard to kill, because I have 3 fighters that do damage. Oh, so his son got it after, okay. I couldn't remember the order on it. Yeah, this is probably the best one. I like how our hands move like to the left and right.
So now comes the staircase.
Yeah, why didn't... Are you sure that, Cray had it first? Because he... So what he said in chat, he could have cut off his son's arm, too.
I don't really remember the order.
Okay, there we go. This is a good battle.
So I'll take them at their word.
Yeah, same. Yeah, Hallard's mentioning something that I've never heard of before, but that sounds really interesting. Like, Rune of Punishment being used by the Sun and the Scarlet Moon Empire. Which is fascinating. I've never heard that before. Alright, I still would like to take one more level up battle. You don't need any level up battles before the final boss, but if you take 2, Jean will usually get a level 4 spell, and it makes the fight safer because you're tankier. The final boss.
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
I was just saying what they're saying. Chat's true, like about him getting exiled, and you know, since he was a student of Eleanor, she kind of got indirectly blamed.
Makes sense. Yeah, I don't know when that was ever told. I feel like that's very interesting and should have been a little bit easier to find. I have no idea where that's set in the games. Let's call me. I'm gonna use that. Sorry. Alright, I think I took 2 battles, if I recall correctly. Anyway, this is the staircase we're talking about, by the way. We're probably on the 20th floor or something by now. I don't even know how there's this many floors. The screen is literally called stairs. We just gotta go up forever. I'm gonna kill one more, why not? Get a little bit more XP. Can't hurt. Like I said, Giant Tree is the only boss fight that's actually scary in this whole run. Has a bunch of different things it can do. It can kill people if it focuses them. Has some statuses, I think. It's pretty tanky. And they can soft lock your game, so... I meant to click bribe there, I could have failed that. We're almost at the final boss fight. Should be final 4 right here. Yep. I'm going to use some mixed herbs onto Jean to get her a second level 4 spell, and we're going to save. Oh, not memory card though. Sure. That save's fine. Because, I may have mentioned this before, but we can soft lock on this final boss fight. One battle we said before, sure. Yeah, every run in this game cracks me up. All the running animations are amazing in their own ways. Alright. He said he wanted some bread. Dude.
Bread. Wonderful. I too would like to.
Have some bread. I finished the form.
Bread?
Yes. Bread? Wonderful. I love that cutscene. That cutscene just cracks me up every time. Alright, so you guys can see what I was talking about here before. This is the first time in the whole run we're using Falcon Rune. And it's really good here. But you won't be able to see the damage on it. Like, it's completely out of camera. Or not completely, but most of it. So I have no idea how much damage I did. My guess is it's about 2k. But I can't know for sure. Yeah, this fight's kind of,
So this
Go ahead.
this creature is where all the rune shells grow off of. Like, so this is essentially the supply for all those cannons that we've been using throughout the game.
That is correct. Did it ever explain why, really? Like, how it all works? And why is it chilling on the 25th floor at Fort Elio? Wow, and they're all missing. They're missing me, for once. Alright, also, this giant tree can change elements. It changes to lightning. I actually do half damage with that thunder spell, but luckily it didn't happen. And we're done. If you get some level up battles and get Jean her second level 4 spell, you can do this in 2 turns. If you don't, it's a 3-turn fight. That went pretty smoothly.
GG.
GG. Unless... no, I actually unlocked the Unite attack because I took those extra battles. That's pretty cool. So I get an extra animation here. I have never done that in the run because I normally never take this many battles. That's pretty funny. Okay, so the battles here, they're random, but they're actually scripted. They always show up here. Now you get 2 soldier fights, kind of like Suikoden 1. No, not Suikoden 1 style because you don't actually fly them there. Now, there's gonna be one more by the door here. Let's use that Unite attack. I haven't seen this in so long. Let's show that off real fast. Not Jean, I guess. Don't have to fight this at all, but we got time still. And we're almost done.
So Wendy kind of had a hand in this game too, since the whatever we call it, the demon tree, got brought into the world because back when Harmonia invaded the Gate Rune village, she used the rune which brought monsters into this world, the Suikoden world.
Huh, I didn't know that. That's really cool. As always, Wendy's ruining everything. Ted can't escape her influence at all. All the games that Ted shows up in, Wendy's had something to deal with. Alright, so coming up, we have one more fight. We're gonna have a duel against Troy. Child of the Sea, I think they call him. Here I go. Okay.
It would always be interesting if she did survive Suikoden 1, just because she would definitely be against Harmonia since Harmonia burned down her village.
I agree. I think it'd just be cool if she made a comeback. Like, I don't see how she'd survive that drop though. Barbaros is a pretty big dude, and they fell pretty far down. I'm actually kind of surprised I'm doing so little damage here. I've done this in 4 turns before, and I have 3 extra battles worth of levels on me, but... 4, actually. Anyway, we defeat him, his ship is sinking, and we offer him to go with us, but he's like, no, I'll go down with my ship. And then Troy recognizes us from rescuing us off that raft at the start of the game. He didn't realize it was the same person until right now.
And he takes the Eingid role. and the Han Cunningham.
Yeah. Alright, so last rune of punishment cutscene. I'll let this play out a little bit because you actually see one of the former bearers of the rune of punishment. This is your mother and Lino's wife. That's kind of cool. That's like one of the few cutscenes she appears in the whole game, but she's in the intro quite a bit, interestingly enough. And you hear this little music box playing. Claire actually owns that music box. You can see it in one of the final cutscenes. And you hear a little jingle of it a little bit after you encounter Brando, when you wake up in Razril, if I recall correctly, or when you go to bed in Razril after that point. Alright, time's coming up, and a little bit. There it is. There we go. Done. GG. I'm actually surprised it was a 240 with all the little extra stuff we did, and of how sloppy I played some stuff, but not bad, I guess. Thank you, GG on D-Russ, that's what this felt like. 20 spare minutes, not quite, because we get to watch the credits. Alright, have a good night. I'll put basic sword. So, you don't get to see that many stars since we don't recruit that many. Oh, you got credits here. Hey man, you can show everyone how it's done tomorrow, Alexander. That's horrible, Kenshin. That's absolutely horrible. That's like the worst reason to turn on Suikoden 4. Now, mouse catching game, or the top spinning game, that's something. But, for read upon? Can't say I approve.
Well, now you got also the Lino walk animation to turn it on for.
Yeah. That Lino walk animation was by far my favorite part of this run. That was amazing. Shibu's was pretty good too, but not same tier as Lino. No, we cannot get a poll for that. Alright, well, see, Red Doll, you had knowledge that I didn't. Lino walk is best walk, apparently. Anyway, we got like 10 minutes, so we'll just let the credits run, and then we will have SRD doing a run of Exit Fate. For anyone that isn't familiar with Exit Fate, it's actually a fan-made game, made in RPG Maker. Heavily inspired by like classic JRPGs. It's like really inspired by Suikoden series, by like classic Final Fantasy games. You'll hear a lot of music from there and there. There's a lot of like familiar themes, and it's a really good game. So I hope you all enjoyed. I doubt a lot of people here have seen it here before, so that's gonna be really cool. I actually tried to route it at some point, but I got bored, honestly. And then SRD picked it up and finished it, and has been doing runs here and there. Legion Saga block? I have no idea. You'd have to check the RPG Limit Break schedule. Yeah, so the art is ripped straight off of Suikoden 2 and other games. Some music is definitely there. Alright, fair enough, Hustler. Well, don't forget there's other runs after that one. Tomorrow and Sunday, we'll still have more stuff going. So lots of stuff to look forward to. I just heard some weird sounds outside. Alright, so I think you'll be there just in time for Suikoden 4, again. If you didn't get enough today. Alexaster will be doing that tomorrow. It'll be 108 star, so best ending. And it'll be new games, so no cheaty voting with all the money in the world, armor. Doing things legitimately. Honestly, I don't even know what that run looks like for the most part. I haven't done it myself yet, so it should be really interesting. I might have been meowing. I'm just not sure if it was Batman or my mom meowing at him. That's what I couldn't tell. Yeah, he'll be getting snow.
And the super secret character, but we already mentioned him a bunch of times.
It took me a second to figure out who you were talking about, yeah. It's really good too. It's very useful in the final boss fight. Although finding him was always a bit of a pain. How long did it take you to find the fog ship when you first played Suikoden 4?
I mean, you don't just like sail into it, or do you mean like blind, or do you mean like using a guide?
Blind. If you did it blind. If you used the guide, then it's different.
I mean, I don't think it was too bad.
I think it took me like half an hour before I found it. But then I think something happened. I had to redo it again. So then I found it with a guide.
Oh. Because yeah, if you like decline the dialogue option, you don't. It's not missable, but you have to go find it again.
Yeah.
I took it the first time it popped up.
I think that's what I did because I wanted to set up my party first, and then it just like it was gone. I was very upset, and then I didn't know if it was gone permanently.
Otherwise, I think it's automated. Otherwise, I think you just need to get the 72 or whatever number it is. Go to your war room, and then you just kind of wake up and like, there's a ship here, and then you're like, do you want to go on it? Yes or no. So I think as long as you hit yes, there's no real waiting for it.
Yeah, I don't think it was that automatic. Like you go to the worm, you get the thing, but it's not like just there outside. You have to be in a certain part of the world map. Like I think it was like roughly east of Naval, somewhere around there, kind of like between Naval and Aluya, or something along that area. And then eventually it shows up. I don't remember exactly how it worked. It was hard to find.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway,
I thought it was near Pirate's Nest, or that's where I thought I encountered it.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
It might have been near there, because Naval and Champa were like one of the last few that I got there, just because they're missable.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to remember myself, because I found a consistent way to do it in 108 star, otherwise that would be a really bad experience. I don't remember exactly how it worked. But,
I thought Troy was an interesting villain, just because like it seemed like he could have actually beat you if like his allies actually like listened to him, but...
Yeah. Troy was like, he was never an evil character, he was like... He was Laszlo on the wrong side. I feel like he was supposed to be parallel, kind of like Joey from 2. But, not to the same extent. Because Joey was a lot more in charge. Troy was kind of just like, hey, this is my side, I'll fight for it. But yeah, I don't think he got enough screen time in this game, honestly. I think he should have had more screen time. It's kind of just there in cutscenes, sitting, listening, and like it just follows orders, really. And you got Cray in charge, and the governor, who's like corrupt in a way, so it doesn't go well for him. I think so, Alexaster. I think that's probably what I did.
Do you know if it's automatic, Alec?
I don't remember. Like, hold on, let me check my notes. I have New Game Plus 1 Light Star notes. Let me see. Fog ship. Okay, sorry, that was... Oh, actually, no, I shouldn't have picked that up. Like, the Windows sound for no match was terrible. Oh, I never finished these notes. Never mind, it's not in here. I had to look at other notes. Oh, that's gonna take too long. It probably is automatic. Okay, it is automatic. Alexaster said it is, so yeah. So I think what I did the first time was I said I wasn't ready, and then you have to find the ship. Anyway, I'm gonna be getting off here, so thank you all for watching. I'll be back eventually for Suikoden 2 108 start. That's gonna be a great run, so I got that to look forward to. And SRD's gonna hop on now, and he'll be doing Exit Fate. So thank you all, and we'll be back in a bit. And Dreamy, thanks for commentating with me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no problem.